and welcome to Turned Out a Punk. I'm your host, Damian Abraham, and today on the show, we're celebrating 30 years of friendship this year. From the band AFI, Davey Havok has returned to Turned Out a Punk. This is Davey's third appearance on the show, and by God, it might be the best one yet. If you want to check out the whole story of Davey and my friendship and a lot of Davey's history as well, it's not just about our friendship, go back and listen to Davey's first two appearances on the show. We get into all sorts of stuff, the AFI ride in Toronto, all those sorts of legends are covered in that. This time Davey comes back and we just hang out and chat. This is a really fun episode. As I said, AFI is one of my favorite bands of all time, and they will be going on tour. And if you have never seen AFI live, my God, change that now. You can find out tour dates for them at afireinside.net. I'll have a link at the bottom, and I'm sure they're going to be announcing more tour dates as the days go on into this year and into the summer. But so far, April and May dates in the U.S., I think Vancouver as well, not Toronto, Vancouver. As well as some dates in Europe have been announced, so check those out as well. Also, check out Davey's Substack. You can find that over on Substack, daveyhavok.substack.com. There'll be a link at the bottom, but if you go to Substack and look up Davey Havok, it's probably going to come up because he's a very popular writer on that thing. I think he's like number 6 in the charts this week or something, so check it out. Well worth your time and your dime to read some great punk rock stuff. I'm just running over my notes. Oh my God. There's a lot of notes to get to before I let you hear this show today. It's a long episode, so there's going to be a lot of fact checking. Bob Mould. There's something about Bob Mould that I didn't get right in the description. Well, whatever that is, apologies to Bob on that. Robbie Brookside did not run the pirate radio station. He had a show on the pirate radio station. Selfless, not selfish records when you get to that part. Simon Gallup from The Cure was in a band called Mag Spies. It also featured Matthew Hartley, who was also in The Cure. The single itself was released by Robert Smith from The Cure, and there's only like 100 or something copies of this thing. It's a top want for me. And I say that it was post-Lock or pre-Lockjaw. It might have been post-Lockjaw because it also features Gary Bow from Lockjaw as well. There's also It's Alive by the Ramones was recorded in 77 but not released until 79. Listen to the Jane County episode. There's all sorts of stuff that I'm sure I get wrong about Wrecking and Jane's origins, which gets very much laid out succinctly by Jane in Jane's episode of Turned Out a Punk. The Rocky Horror Picture Show books that Tony Adolescence talks about in his episode were like slam books, I believe they were called. And check out Tony Adolescence episode to find out the whole thing about these awesome books that used to get mailed around. You'd kind of like write a page. And anyway, it's all covered in the Tony Adolescent episode. I think that's it for notes on this thing. I could go on about AFI forever, but I've definitely, this is a long intro. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Davey Havok's return to Turned Out a Punk. Davey, welcome back to the show.
Damian, I am so happy to be here. I had such a great time with you the first time. I have a great time with you every time I see you, but the first time we did this, it was very enjoyable to me. And I have long since hoped there would be an excuse for me to return. I think I invited myself. Did I?
No. I invited you, and I've been threatening to drag you back on this thing many times over the years. You actually have been on twice.
Stop.
We did the first one over. I think Zoom wasn't even a technology. It was like
we did it in person in a hotel room, right?
Well, that was the second time.
And the first time we did it here at the house.
We did it. No, we did it over like Skype or whatever, FaceTime. I guess maybe back then. And
wow,
it was it was like and then you came to town like 2 or 3 weeks later, and we did the other one in the hotel. So you were like the first part 2, I think I ever did.
Okay, right. It was framed as a 2-part 1 piece interview, right?
Yeah, it was, no, we did them like they came out separately, and now
Okay.
I've subsequently put them together when I've reissued it. But
Okay.
it was, yeah, you were very much like in the first run of people. You were one of the first people I wanted to have on this show because
Oh, thanks, man.
I grew up with you, man. Like, well, not
We,
you grew up.
we realize now that we're the exact same age then.
Yes, we are totally the exact same age, and we
We
went to
didn't
the
know it
same
at the
elementary
time.
schools.
I thought I was older. I wasn't.
Well, I think you're slightly older than me by 2 or 3 years,
Right.
but enough that you were like the coolest big kid type vibe. Like I remember running into you on the street in Berkeley
Yeah.
one time
Oh,
and trying to force you to listen to like a Chokehold side project or something, being like, dude, I
okay.
got to play you this thing on my CD player. It's
Okay.
super awesome. And you're probably like, this fucking kid, man.
I do not remember this. I barely remember Chokehold. No shade, but I do recall their existence. But the side project and running into you on the Ave. What were you doing there? Playing?
No, this is way before fucked up. My friend went to Berkeley, and my mom was
okay.
a flight attendant, so I could fly down there and just
Oh, and you went to hang.
yeah, and I would just go and he would stay in his dorm room. I'd sleep on the floor, and then go to Gilman shows on the weekends. Like I could fly standby for free, so it was kind of like, all right, might as well try and go and see a
Yeah,
Gilman
that's
show.
yeah. I would have done the same thing.
So
And I was just hanging around everywhere. Certainly, depending on the year.
well, it's funny because now going through your Substack, like I was only there like 2 or 3 times, but there's just so many reference points that I'm like,
You were
holy
there for.
shit, I have a connection to this. Well, I wasn't even necessarily there for, but I guess in that period, there's like enough bleed over to like these brief moments where I had glimpses of the Bay Area where I'm like, oh my God, I know that person, or I saw that band, or people I didn't even know, legends I didn't even know I was seeing that I've now read about because you've put them in proper context for me. So it's
Oh
been
wow, jeez.
a fun thing to go through that. I love your writing, obviously,
Oh, thanks,
from your
Damian.
books, but like this is like right in my wheelhouse.
This, of course, being nonfiction, right? A totally different foray, which I never thought I would embark upon, but I have found it very enjoyable, and especially those pieces. It's all over the place, as you see when I'm writing in the Substack. You're getting different eras, and you're getting different, stories that are sometimes more like a very spontaneously written camp Christmas poem that will come out in a couple hours versus the story about when I first met Eric Ozine or that period in Berkeley versus the period of AFI's inception that's in there occasionally, or if I get personal, like my relationship with tattoos, or that it's all over the place. But that, yeah, our formative years in Berkeley and my formative years in Berkeley were just that. They were formative, and that period of time was so unique. And in a regard, I think we all understood that to some extent back then. And so I think part of the reason why the scene was so insular and so strong, by way of both of those things, the strength comes from how insular it was, in a regard. But yeah, there's so much going on. And looking back, we never, we never really considered how different things would be now, and thereby how starkly different that culture was from now and would be viewed as. And that period of time that you were there and visiting, and all those bands and all those record stores and all those people and all those clubs and the look of it all and the ethic of it all. It was cool, man. I'm being very vague, but it was a good time.
It was a cool time because it was like, it was an interesting time, I think, because going down there, I remember meeting Sammy from All Bets Off.
Right.
He was the first person that, like, I couldn't believe he was like nice. Like, I went to the Gilman super early. Like, why would someone show up this early for a show?
Right.
And he was outside and just was like super nice to me and was like answering all my ridiculous questions that I had, and gave me an All Bets Off 7-inch. I think it was a split. The first split they put out and stuff.
Who was on the other side? Like Sub Incision? Sworn Enemy?
Sworn Enemy.
Sworn Enemy. Right. They were local.
And it was, rest in peace, because he was like a
Yeah.
super awesome dude, obviously on a grand scale, but just on the micro scale of meeting him that day.
Yeah, he was very much a supporter of the scene and kids and a really nice guy, and a poet himself and a writer, and a fan of deeper arts that one wouldn't have presumed based on the genre of music that he made, the sound of the music. But if you looked into the lyrics, there was a little more going on than some of who people consider to be his peers. But yeah, I mean, he was also the first to start every fight.
Yes. I think that warrior poet is a very common archetype in Berkeley.
Yeah. Okay. It is true. There are many of the warrior poets, many. What a great time. But yeah, Sammy was really nice. I knew him from before All Bets Off. He was a supporter. I mean, he was a friend first and foremost, but he was, I mean, as so trite to say it, but of course the lines blurred. I mean, that's how you and I are here. Yeah. The lines were very, very blurred. It was, everyone was friends. And, of course it was a situation where when we were playing, I would get off stage and go to the merch booth and sell the merch for a while.
As long as you can.
Till Julie started doing it for us. Did you ever meet Julie? I know you met Monica Diener.
I wonder if I met Julie. No, because I must have, because I think the times you came, because I saw you every single time you guys came to Toronto, and there was that time.
Oh, Julie didn't tour with us. She would. I would sell it on. Or no. The first time we toured, Matt Wedgley. No, wrong. You probably knew this. Steve Ziegler, who took the photos for Answer That and Stay Fashionable, who I think the last time I saw him, have you been to the Regent Theater in Los Angeles?
I think we played the Regent one time. Yeah.
It's downtown, and
I know that theater though. Yes.
It relatively recently started doing shows. It was before the pandemic, but maybe it was like 2012 or 13. They started doing shows there again, and there's an alley behind it. And I was in the alley, certainly doing something unsavory, and I hear my name being shouted from above. Like, is that you, Santa Claus? It was not Santa Claus, but Steve Ziegler, who I hadn't seen for what felt like decades, was in a window in what turned out to be an apartment, and he recognized me from the alley. But he, I believe he's a very successful photographer, as he should be, as he was a very talented photographer very early on, and offered his services to us both in photographic art and in hands-on road dog. He came with us. So Steve sold the merch. Steve, who took the Answer That and Stay Fashionable promo glossies, which I wish I had one, and the album art photos. And then Matt Wedgley from Circus Tents, and then later The Force took over for him pretty quickly. Second tour, I think.
I just saw the Force 10-inch test press for sale on Instagram.
Test press, wow.
Test press of the 10-inch.
That's cool.
I know.
Was Hunter selling it?
No, it was the record store was selling it, and I was like, damn, I should buy it, but I think it sold by the time I was ready to.
They were fucking great, man. The Force and Circus Tents were great. Matt was angry. It was wonderful. I see Matt too. He has Willie Nelson braids, and I see him he works for Golden Voice, so I'll see him at Coachella almost every year. Although it's been a couple of years. I know he moved. I don't know if Matt ever moved from Grass Valley, where the Force and the Circus Tents are from, where AFI played with the Circus Tents at a party in Grass Valley at Dave's house. Dave, who was made famous on maybe the Circus Tents demo, Go Raid Dave's. We didn't know Dave until we played at his house with Circus Tents. Hunter wanted us to play Grass Valley on this upcoming AFI run.
Other shows
in the spring. I guess there's just not a room that makes any sense. I don't know. I was stranded. Okay. I recently played in North Carolina, and the flights everywhere are just absolutely fucked. And I almost my flight was so delayed that it looked like I wasn't going to make it to the show. This was a couple months ago, or maybe a month ago. And I almost took a lift from the connection city that I was in to the show. I ended up making my connection, and Jake Fritch, our tour manager, is texting me, and he's never behaved like this before, but he's texting me and saying, you should pre-order a lift to the pickup spot at the airport when you land. And he's never done that. And I'm like, this is very diligent and odd. Why are you suggesting this? And he said, it's kind of tough to get a car. And I said, it won't allow me to do that. And he said, okay, I'm going to have the hotel order you a cab. And I'm thinking this is just overly cautious. And he's like, you're going to get to the airport and you're going to get on a little bus and you're going to ride to this pickup area. Okay. So that's pretty standard these days, but the airport was very, very small. And I get on this, this small, in this small van packed with people, and we drive for what feels like 30 minutes to this. It seemed like the Twilight Zone. It seemed impossible. I mean, it seemed like a bad sketch. We get dropped on this little island in the middle of nowhere, and there's a small overhang that everyone's huddling underneath. And I get there, and the energy there is odd. Everyone is tense. It feels like the planes are coming in overhead, and everyone's grouped together. And it becomes clear pretty quickly that you cannot get a car to where we are. And that's what everyone's trying to do. And there's this local guy trying to be the mayor of the little refugee camp that we have, and saying, listen, everyone, I live half a mile away. I mean, I live a half an hour away, but if you can't get a car and you feel comfortable giving me your phone number, give me your phone number. I'll come back and get you. And people are trying to make friends with each other, which is easily done. And if someone looks like they're getting a ride share that's going to come, they said, okay, well, where are you going? Where are you going? You could get in my car. You could get in my car. And there was this woman that the mayor was trying to engage with. And he says, I know I'm a man, but if you want to get in the car with me. And she's like, I don't know. And I hear her say that she's from Grass Valley. I'm like, this is nuts. And so I'm like, hey, because the mayor seemed very benign and genuinely friendly, but let's just say this woman appeared to have more in common with someone who looks like me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know what you're saying.
And I said, hey, I got a cab coming. You can jump in mine if you're going to where you say you're going. That looks like, and then the cab just cancels. The cab just won't come out there. So then I have no one. And I made friends with this woman, and she lives in Grass Valley. And apparently artists still do art in Grass Valley. I ended up taking a Japanese woman with me to out of the refugee camp in my lift. Her name was Mia. She didn't speak to me on the ride.
At all?
No, a relief to both of us, I'm sure. More, she got off better than she knows, but I was like, we were exhausted. Oh, it was freezing, by the way. I mean, it was freezing out there, and we were just stuck, and that wasn't that interesting. But yeah, Grass Valley. I met someone from Grass Valley. That's all.
One time I was flying from, I think I was flying to Bolivia. I forget where I was flying, somewhere. And the guy gets beside me on the plane, and he's like, yeah, man, I'm just going on a mission. It's my first time ever leaving Canada, and I'm going on this Christian mission. And I'm like, oh my God. And then the other dude behind me, who's in the middle seat, starts being like, are you going to a Christian mission? I used to do missionary work. And I'm like,
no.
I'll sit in the middle between you guys for 4 hours. I'll sit in the middle. Let's just switch seats. So I just switched to the guy and sat in the middle instead of having this conversation.
Did you have good earplugs?
I was out. I'm a pretty good sleeper on planes.
Oh, that's cool.
Owing to probably cannabis as well. So
okay.
I'm out pretty quick once I get aboard.
Yeah.
I sat one time beside John Irving, though. You know who wrote Prayer for Owen Meany and Cider House Rules?
Oh, now I do.
Yeah, he was really
Yes,
cool.
I was not going to be able to pretend I knew who he was, but yeah. Oh, that's cool.
He was
That's
really cool.
wild. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
I was beside Kenny G one time, and
Okay, I
very
definitely know who
nice.
Kenny G is. That's nice.
Have you ever sat beside anyone cool on a plane, like
On a
randomly?
plane, nope, no, no. There was there was a very well dressed girl on the same flight that I was talking about. Oh, I was coming out of Nashville. That's why. But she was going to the middle of nowhere, and I couldn't. She had a whole Stevie Nicks thing and red hair and like garish coat with faux fur and boots. And when I went to sit down, she asked me if she had taken my seat, and I said no. And I proceeded to just not speak to her for the rest of the flight. But she looked cool. But no. Luckily, I've gotten lucky. I've had some rough people sitting next to me, and I don't want to be one of those rough people for people. It would stress me out. I mean, wouldn't it stress you out if you sat next to one of your inspirations? That would fuck. I'm so glad that's never happened to me. That would bum me out because I'd want to talk to him, and I think it depends on how long the flight is. I think I could refrain from saying anything, but I would just be stressed out the whole time. You know, if you sat next to Ian or John Waters, I don't know if you read my
Yes.
my John Waters thing, or Jim Jarmusch or David Lynch, rest in peace. Can't believe we lost him. But any of that would just be like, fuck, oh great, I sat down next to Nick Cave. And then they look at you and they know immediately, say, oh fuck, and they dread, please, oh don't talk to me. Of course, I don't think any of the people that I'm inspired by would be flying coach.
I I have super Punisher energy, as you know. So I will
You'll get in there.
yeah, like I'm shameless.
I can't do it. I mean, no, I can, as you see. I'm conflicted, as you see. I'm conflicted because I have that energy. I have the desire to love all over them. But it's a fine line.
I think you got to pick your moments too, and like your ins.
Well,
Like
yeah.
Nick Cave would be a hard one. Like I don't think he's, he doesn't seem like a very open.
I mean,
loving
in modern times, he's essentially Santa Claus. I don't know if you've paid attention to his change of tone. I think nowadays it might be quite a bit easier to friendly up to Nick, but that we know that wasn't the case for many decades. I briefly met him once, just a handshake and a hello. It was when he was on Epitaph Records, and I'd gone with Gina and Brett to see him on Dig Lazarus Dig, and ended up backstage afterward in a circle with them. And I think they wanted to introduce me, and I was very nervous to meet Nick, and I think he was quite intoxicated. And just it was a hello, hi.
Yeah, he's one that I'm like, I've never been around, and I don't know if I'd have a good enough in. Jim Jarmusch,
Oh, did you meet Jim?
yeah, we did Ultimo's parties that he did.
No.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Oh, wow.
This is actually one of the wildest moments of my life. Like he's right behind me in a conversation with someone, and I'm like in a group of people smoking a joint, and then I turn to him and I'm like, "Hey man, do you smoke pot?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then he gets in the circle and we're passing this joint around, and then Lauren calls me, and she's like backstage at a Yo Gabba Gabba show, and I gave her my Biz Markie 7-inch to get signed by Biz Markie. And she's like, "Hey, I'm backstage at this Yo Gabba Gabba show. I got your 7-inch signed, and now Biz Markie wants to talk to you on the phone."
Okay.
So I'm like, "Pardon, Jim.
Excuse me, Jim. I've got
Hold that
Biz on the
thought.
phone.
Biz Markie wants to talk to me." And Biz Markie gets on the phone. He's like, "Hey, do you have more of these records?" I'm like, "What do you mean, like your records?" And he's like, "Yeah, but I mean like 45s. Do you have more 45s?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got a few thousand of them, I guess." And he's like, "Can I buy them?"
Wait, what?
No,
Just generally? 7 inches in
generally.
general?
Sight unseen. Just wanted to buy all my 7-inches,
Just all your records?
all my records. And he's like,
Why?
"Oh, I don't know. He's like, I saw this one and thought you might have more stuff. So, I collect
What?
7 inches. Yeah.
Oh, just in general.
Just in general. Rest in peace to Bismarcky too. But
That is wild.
huge 7 inch collector.
You reminded me. My father had. My father is responsible. Probably says this somewhere in the Substack. I talk about this pretty frequently. I talk about my dad and how fundamental he is and was in me being able to make art and rock and roll for the rest of my life. And he was responsible for printing the first AFI t-shirt, as well as many thereafter for the first like couple years, renting us our van, making our first stickers. I mean, he was our ally in everything. We were too young to rent a van, and so he would rent the van for us. But he had a collection of all of the initial AFI shirts, everything from shirt 1 through Very Proud of You.
Whoa.
Yeah, so he had a lot of those. They were destroyed, and this is heartbreaking to all of us, but I recently, and it's really rare for me to even encounter anything like this because I'm not very internet-y at all, and I'm almost certainly not seeing anything on the internet that's not coming from Damian, for instance. And even then, I don't know if I'm seeing something come from Damian. It's low chance, but someone showed me that they acquired what I do believe is my dad's favorite AFI shirt that he had a part in making. Which, do you remember? You probably have one, Damian. Do you remember the long sleeve blue flame, like 96 AFI shirt? So it was the block letters and then, or like the newspaper terror letters that were askew, blue flames and then blue flames down the sleeves. There was also an orange and red flame version of that. It was quite 90s.
I definitely remember that shirt. I don't have that one.
Someone on the internet just was like, "Hey, look what I got," and I don't talk to strangers. I don't do that unless they're John Waters. And I wrote to the person. I was like, "That is really cool. Please, if you ever find another one of these in like a size large or extra large, please can you let me know? I need to buy it." And he's nice. He's like, "Yeah, I'll let you know." He's like a vintage. He's a stranger. I don't know who he was, but a vintage person. Yeah. So like Bismarcky, but not like Bismarcky. I am looking for this AFI shirt.
You don't have any of the 7 inches either, right? Like you got.
I have the 7 inches. I just don't have the shirts. I have maybe. I have at least one of the first 7 inch of the first pressing of the first 7 inch. I think only one, and then I have a small handful of Behind the Times and the first pressing, and then the second pressing. We're not counting the bootlegs, obviously, and then the Eddie Picnic. I have like the pink version and the black version, which is rarer than the pink version. But there were only of those records. There was, I think, 100 Dork. And then maybe 500 total Behind the Times of the real record. And then maybe 400 of Eddie Picnic. But man, Steve from Heckle, he lost his home in the fires, in the California fires last season. Everything burnt completely to the ground. His cars, his guitars, and his AFI Heckle split 7 inches, but I was able to, I had to, so that's what he got for his birthday this year.
When you came over to my house that day afterwards, like when you were getting picked up, Adam brought, Tristan and I up to the van. We were saying goodbye to you, and he's like, "Do you guys want merch?" And I got a Heckle split and a long sleeve, and Tristan he must have gotten a long sleeve, but then we also had a Very Proud of You, but like a ringer tee. But I think we got that later on. Like, I don't think that was on that tour.
I mean, the ringer to you was 96, 97, probably 96.
Maybe that's what he grabbed. And then so I still have my Heckle split from that. But then I found a white one randomly in a record store.
Oh, a white Heckle split?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember it being, I know that because I gave Steve a white one and a black one.
Yeah.
That's right.
the like there's like records I traded from fucked up stuff that I'm now like, oh, I wish I had
Oh,
maybe kept that for my kids, but I like traded for, objectively
at the
cooler
drive-in.
records.
Yeah. When we met at the drive-in, which was probably 96 in a cornfield in Nebraska, when we were playing a show in the middle of a cornfield, it was kind of similar to the island that I was left on in the Carolinas to try to get to my hotel. Except it was surrounded by corn, and we were in some sort of hall, and it was a band that sounded like Snapcase, as many bands did once you passed a certain point in America heading from the west to the east. And then there was At the Drive-In, and they played right before us. We were all playing on the floor, and we could not believe what we were seeing. It was one of the best acts we've ever seen, and they remain to be to this day. And we had to play after them. It was just, we're like, we can't. We just swarmed them after their set and said, can we please trade you everything we have for everything you have? And we thought they'd say no, because they were so much better than us. And they're like, yeah. And we trade, oh my God. And so we trade all their stuff. We became friends then. And then we went on after At the Drive-In. It was less painful than I thought it was going to be, but it was still like inappropriate. No one should ever play after At the Drive-In.
Our worst like cleanup spot that we had to do was after the OCs and then King Khan and the Shrines, when they had Curtis Mayfield's percussionist playing with them.
Oh.
And then Fucked Up comes out. It sounds like we're playing on Tinker Toys. Like we're just like ding 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 ding.
Ding. Where was this?
In Miami. Festival? We did a cruise with Jello by
I can't
Afra.
Believe these crews. Jello was on the tour?
Jello? Yeah, Jello was amazing. He found out about how fucked up cruise ships are with employing people. They employ people from offshore companies, so they don't have to even pay them minimum wage. So he does this whole lecture to all
disparaging the ship that he's on.
Yeah, about how shitty all the conditions are for these workers and how shitty the economy is for this type of
what?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was incredible.
Are the workers there just backing him?
It was only the people that had paid to be on the part of the punk cruise. Right. It was a punk cruise, so it was only like 30% of the ship were people for this sort of fucked up OCs.
There were civilians on the ship?
Total civilians on the ship.
And did they intermingle?
You kind of had to. Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh.
It was very weird. Like,
what a nightmare. Guys,
I can't see you on a cruise.
Neither can I.
Have you done one?
No. No. You're stuck on a boat it's like an airport at sea. And you're stuck at it.
I just couldn't even see, like, the food is insane too.
Like everything about it sounds crazy. I learned throughout life, when you get into the upper echelons of luxury, it doesn't matter what it is great. Like I don't particularly care for going overseas, but I know that if I were allowed to go to St. Barth's or if somewhere in the Riv or Monaco, it would be a good time, but I can't. So there are probably some cruises where, oh, no, sir, here's your personal vegan chef for just you. and these are your quarters, and it's just you and Damian. But no, I so many people do those cruises. You've done them. You have. It sounds tough, man. It sounds tough.
It was, yeah, it was very bizarre. Like, it was such a fun time because, like, Jello's on this thing,
yeah,
or like John Dwyer, like all these and then there were just like cool people on this cruise because it was
that is cool.
It was kind of like small and things, but like. I know friends that go on these wrestling cruises, or people that go on like the Weezer cruise, or like
they have their own cruise. They have a reoccurring cruise.
They had a cruise. I don't know if it's reoccurring. I know Flogging Molly, I think, has a reoccurring cruise.
18 Visions. My buddy Dan Smith. You've probably met him.
Oh, no, yeah, absolutely, Dan.
I hadn't seen him in quite some time. We had dinner right before I left for Mexico to play with AFI in between the San Diego show and Mexico, and he told me he had joined 18 Visions, and he was going on a 18 Visions today, They might be out there right now. Maybe it was a Christmas cruise.
A Christmas cruise.
Maybe, I don't know. It was happening. 18 Visions was going out. I think he said it was a metal cruise. There was maybe Lamb of God was on it. Yeah, people go on the cruise. I remember there being an industrial one at a time. It was like future pop time.
Yeah.
And that was at a time where I was like, fuck, am I going to go on a cruise? Because someone was playing who I hadn't seen, like Neurotic Fish or, Rotor Song, someone of that genre that hadn't come to California yet. And maybe there were a couple of them. I was actually going to go to fly to Canada at one point to see a festival called Synth Pop Goes the World that I had planned on, I'd gotten tickets for, but before I could go, the whole festival got canceled. Luckily, it got canceled before I got on a plane, but I can't remember who. I think it was like Iris and like some different drum acts, and maybe Covenant played, but I digress.
Well, just because I know you're a fan, that the original guitar player of Burn the Priest, which became Lamb of God.
Okay, right.
Took photos in the first Pinhead Gunpowder 7-inch.
Took the photos of Pinhead Gunpowder?
Took a photo of Aaron. I think it's just the one photo that's because I think every other photo's Murray Bowles, but there's one.
Where isn't Lamb of God Southern?
They're from Virginia. So I think it was like maybe on tour or something where it happened, but there was like some reason.
Hey, can we use your photo? Yeah,
so it's
good. We love it.
So got a photo credit on there for that.
Randy, is that the singer of Lamb of God? Is that his name?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I ended up like back when there were magazines and back for the 5 minutes where major magazines wanted to talk to me, they had me do a Rock the Vote, which was a group of people interview, and he was one of them. It was him and Dave Grohl, and I think I know Matt was representing the Republicans, Matt from Avenged Sevenfold, and then I feel maybe it was just at and Serge.
Okay, yeah.
But man, Randy is an intelligent, articulate man. That man.
And you know what? Here's a connection. Huge Comet Bus fan.
Randy is.
Yeah. Ginormous.
So he was a punk?
He's not a metalhead. Yeah, he was a punk dude. Totally from, he was in some kind of more noise rocky type bands, but totally from this kind of world of punk.
Yeah. And then you don't know who Aaron Comet Bus is unless you are.
Yeah, exactly. If you describe yourself as a Comet Bus super fan, you're pretty deep headed at that point.
That's pretty definitive.
And then he could do this voice and sort of fell in with these guys that were also on a Skeen Records band too, which put out Crimshrine Records, so it's all weirdly connected, but they were more rock dudes.
Who put out the Crimshrine Records?
Skeen did a Crimshrine Jawbreaker split.
Not to be confused with Skeeno.
No, Skeen Records, this is crazy. Aaron, though, in Maximum Rock and Roll, in the classified sections, took out a classified ad and said that the Skeen record was completely a bootleg. And I asked Adam from Jawbreaker, he's like, I didn't know it was a bootleg. I thought it was legit.
That's wild.
Yeah.
You said it was a split with who?
It's a Jawbreaker Crimshrine split.
Oh, what did it look like?
It's got a weird drawing of kind of a happy face kind of chef looking guy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Sleep, what's that?
Yeah. And then but it's it's not
Jawbreaker's on the other side?
And Jawbreaker's
okay, but you know what that happy face
No, it's not
is?
Sleeps with that. It's the Sleeps with that guy, but a close up of him. Just
that
his
chef?
face. Yeah.
Right? That chef was the logo for the only 24-hour coffee shop in Oakland.
Oh, okay.
I think that's the tie-in. I could be totally wrong, but I'm pretty certain. And now I cannot remember the name of it. But Sleep With That, Coffee, Up All Night. That little guy, that was an after show spot, and Oakland had an ordinance it was illegal nothing could stay open 24 hours. And there was, maybe it was on the, I'm getting something wrong here, but that's generally what was going on. And maybe it was on the Berkeley border, one way or the other, but fuck, I forgot about that entirely until this conversation. Yeah. It was a very, very early East Bay post show hangout. And that's what that little guy was, but it's not the Sleep With That 7-inch that you're talking about.
No, it's like a close up of his face, I guess. Like I thought I had a copy of it, but maybe I don't. But
what was the Jawbreaker side?
The Jawbreaker side is like a live track, and the Crimpshrine songs are songs that were released on a comp by Skeen Records a few years earlier, the Caution comp, which now you're ready to get your mind blown. Features
this is all sounding vaguely familiar. Go ahead.
Features a band called Boneyard.
Okay.
The bass player of Boneyard is the bass player of Belly, who is currently playing in Gang of Four.
Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa.
No.
Wow. That's wild, man. I didn't go see Gang of Four last time they played, and I regret it so much. People were sending me video, and utter regret, man. But I did go to Cox Bar, as you may have read about.
I did. I loved reading you write about Oi. I think Cox Bar is also like one of those bands that I could see them being like in a different time, a different place. They could have been like a radio rock band.
It's so hooky. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, just their ability to write, they're really amazing. And it really impacted me, that aspect of them, exactly what you're talking about. Although I didn't really hone in on, okay, this should have been massive, but their ability to write very, very simple, very catchy yet thoughtful hooks in the almost, now that I'm saying this aloud, I haven't said this before, in almost an identical fashion each time, but different enough where it's not redundant. That actually reminds me of the Ramones. Not sonically, but fundamentally in structure and in essence in that way. And you're absolutely right. I mean, if that had happened post Green Day, they would have been massive. You know, if it had happened at any one of the points in pop culture, I suppose without because the lyric, not all the lyrics would forfeit them from mainstream success at all. In fact, few of them would. Yeah, it's their melody. And have you seen them lately, Damian?
I've never seen them live.
He sounds perfect, and he sings high.
Yeah, his voice is like, he hasn't lost his voice at all.
Not at all. Not at all. So I've seen so many people of their generation over and over again over the years, and it is really inspiring and impressive to me to see them be so strong. The Damned fucking kill it.
Dude.
Kill it. Yeah, your voice.
He gets better.
Yeah. He looks amazing. He sounds amazing. Yeah, there was a little period where Damned was a little dodgy, but that was long ago, and it's no longer so phenomenal and so strong. And then Simple Minds, man. Oh, I just saw Simple Minds. Boy, can Jim sing. They sound phenomenal. And then we won't name any other names, but unfortunately, I have followed a lot of these bands that have been some of my biggest influences, and some of them have recently reached the point where they no longer can do what they used to do, but they're in their 70s as well.
Did I tell you my Dave Vanian story from the Damn tour we did?
You did. That's why I was like, ladies and gentlemen, Dave Vanian is afraid of Damian.
Hey, it's not just like one of the I've got that effect on people,
It's really cool.
Some people want to be around, people, and some people are.
I just can't imagine fearing you. You just give kind energy.
Well, especially this era of me, like you knew me at very terrifying moments in my evolution as a human being.
Well, yeah, but
so now I'm
still like in essence.
Yeah, it was
not.
Very,
yeah,
it was
shocking.
It was very weird. It was very that whole tour was amazing though, because they were like like you're saying, it's kind of inspiring to see someone who's like able to kind of like age gracefully.
Yeah, which is rare.
Yeah, and especially like in this world where like aging gracefully is kind of like an art that not everyone's able to master.
I mean, tell me if you figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Speaking of, did you hear? This may lean to new wave. Have you heard Daniel Ash's new record? It's good.
No.
Ashes and Diamonds.
Okay.
I believe it's called. And let's look that up while we're talking about it. But it's really, what I appreciate about it is he really stays true to Daniel Ash, and I feel his essence and isn't trying to conform to the times. It seems, it doesn't seem like it has, that it's overly produced. The lyrical content seems very genuine, rather than, people kind of sometimes shift to try to relate to what's going on now. And I always appreciate people who can't relate to anything. That's where I'm coming from.
Did you ever hear the Peter Prey solo record from The Only Ones? Like he did that solo record on Merge maybe
Oh, wow.
7 years ago. It's fucking awesome.
Okay.
One clunky lyric kind of about the internet, if I remember correctly.
Oh my God. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And we've actually mentioned someone who was guilty of that exact same crime in this conversation. I was in the, there's a songwriter who I became acquainted with at my gym just from being in the locker room with him. And it turned out he was a songwriter. And we're in there last night. We're like the only people in the gym because the city's finally cleared out. Took so much longer this year, but really quiet, kind of empty locker room last night. And I'm shaving. He asked me what I was doing, and I told him what I was doing. And there was a song playing over the speakers, and it was like, I saw you on the internet. I go, Danny, did you write this song? He goes, no. I go, okay, good. It is just shockingly bad. Like, how can you sing that lyric? He's like, I know. This is why I want to quit songwriting. I didn't get into this to write K-pop songs. It wasn't a K-pop song, but I was like, yeah, do you hear? I mean, does that happen to you? It happens to me constantly where, I mean, I understand the state of things. I understand what pop music is, but sometimes it just still really shocks me, the internet.
Yeah, there's definitely like...
Don't sing about the internet. But then I think about it, Damian. Okay.
Stooges did it too and got fucked up, right? MySpace? They have that song about MySpace.
Who did?
The Stooges.
What?
On Weirdness, they have a song that mentions MySpace. Like, saw you on MySpace.
Oh, no, man. I didn't know that. Well, what? So the Stooges made a record?
I think it's called The Weirdness, maybe? I'm now...
Post? I didn't realize. So, like, when they got back together...
They did an LP.
And I saw them, which was fantastic. They played I Want to Be Your Dog twice.
They started the end of the set with it, right?
Yep.
It was they played Toronto the day after they had all their gear stolen in Montreal.
Whose gear did they use?
They borrowed gear. And just all borrowed and rented gear. I think they might have they didn't borrow our shit. We opened and it was like we're gonna blow them off the stage. Like they're playing on borrowed gear. Like we've got this crazy energy.
You thought that?
I know. I'm fucking out of my mind.
Really?
I was really out of my mind.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I went insane.
Singing about MySpace or not, there is no part of me that ever would think I'm going to blow Iggy Pop off the stage.
I was on another level in terms of the arrogance.
Shit.
And so, but because of that, I went so hard. Like we played a giant theater and I'm climbing up to different balconies and all this kind of shit. And then they came out and just wiped the fucking floor with us.
I mean, it's the Stooges. You just can't. All you got to do is be the Stooges, and you got it. You win.
It was insane. It was brutal.
You know what? Listen, check out this. Back to philosophy. So we both expressed this great aversion. We are repelled by that when we hear internet or MySpace or Instagram in a lyric. But counterpoint, I tend to think about this. Okay, why is it that is so like? It's just because we're old, or is that we're hearing older people do it? Is it repulsive? No, because I'm like I heard. So it's repulsive to me. I don't know that it's fair. So it's repulsive to me in the song I heard today, which is certainly some sort of dance song by It was electronica, leaning toward kind of EDM, more chilled out. But regardless, we grew up with all of the acts we listen to singing about modern technology. You hear VCR, you hear MTV being referenced, you hear
Walkman starting to melt.
Yeah, Walkman starting to melt. Perfect example. And was only cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, whoa, you said Walkman. Like, great example, Damian, because when I figured out that that's what Morrissey was saying, I thought, whoa, that is amazing that you were able to insert mundane pop culture into poetry. I guess it's all context and how you do it and how you frame it. I guess I just haven't yet. I've yet to hear the internet or MySpace or Instagram or Facebook reference in such a way that feels compelling, I suppose. But we would hear all of that, like, and it was cool. No, I just don't know. What do you got?
No, because I'm thinking you're right. Like, is there any song? And I'm like, because Elliott Smith would sing about contemporary things like in his songs, and I think he could do it in a tasteful way. Like, I'm thinking,
but would he sing about technology? I think there's something about
technology.
Yeah, because contemporary things, like when Lana. So when I heard video games for the first time, and she was the biggest thing, from the outset, and I couldn't get to and from my house because everyone was stalking Marmont all the time because Lana was always there, and I was fucking annoyed. I'm like, fuck this. I'm like, oh, gross. We're singing like, Phil Spector era 60s pop, but we're saying video games. I'm like, that's shticky. I'm not in. I didn't like it. But then I listened to it and I paid attention, and I think it's genius. So she references video games, but I think it's the technological side of it where at least I always feel, okay, great. You're singing about lasers and your new wave. Fuck yeah, you are. But now if we're singing about social media, maybe it's something as simply that it's so starkly clear how malignant modern technology is with very little room for argument, as opposed to technological advances of the past where there was always arguments, every time. Of course, anything that was invented is like going to ruin culture, but now it clearly has. So
yeah.
like it's just done. I don't know, Damian. It's odd, right?
There are obviously genres of music that do talk about this stuff in modern technology, but within the context of, like, I don't know, like broadly termed, like post-punk, not in the genre, but I mean like music that came from punk and after punk, like, which is largely contemporary. Like, it feels like there's somewhere that you can kind of address punk, but like you're like any sort of modern technology, but anywhere outside of that, like, it feels, I guess it's context. Like, if you do it,
it's context, yeah,
right? Like, it feels like also it would be like a product shout out at this point, because all these things are not necessarily technologies so much as they are
products. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Maybe there's a song where you could talk about social media. Like, we've got a song where I talk about social media, but I don't fucking say it.
You don't say social media. That's
no.
The thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
No.
That's the thing.
I definitely have to do some coded messages and slowed down songs.
Well, of course. I mean, like, I'm certain I'm writing about that in general, and I mean, have been since Crash Love, because you can't avoid talking about what is killing us when you're coming from our place. But it's the particular use of the language that is, maybe it's just weak. Maybe that's it. It's just weak. It's like weak writing. Just come out and say it.
Yeah. And that's what we need to be doing, more of this stuff that's big tent. We got to be thinking bigger tent with our ideas.
That's right.
Things that everyone can relate to. The internet. We all can relate to the internet.
We all can relate to. Yes, that's the thing. Right. That's it. We all can.
It's funny because you have that thing about going back that you wrote on the Substack about going back and revisiting old lyrics and kind of like as you go.
As I learn the songs to go on tour.
Yeah, but I mean, like, also it's just you go through life as a songwriter, especially as someone who, like, people have nostalgic attachment to different eras of the things that you do.
Yeah.
And there's lyrics that people, like, identify with and mean a lot to them, but then you as a writer have moved on to different things. And there's some things that obviously still are universal and you carry with you, but it's interesting how my relationship to certain songs have changed, and even like the way I approach singing them, because like now there's themes that I've put into those songs that I didn't necessarily have back
then. Or consciously know about. Most certainly. Yeah, I experienced that as well. And a lot of the themes are within my own writing, the themes carry through year after year after year, almost a pummeling redundancy at times. You could, look at it in that way. But how I phrase things in the past, sometimes is more appealing than not. And then we get to, in the case of AFI, where, a lot of those lyrics were written by a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old, and people who aren't me, in AFI want to play those songs live over the course, somewhere between 1991 and 2001. A lot of them are really bad. It's just bad writing. It's just bad writing. But to your point, I have really good friends who still are just ride or die for those records that introduced AFI to them and introduced, us to each other, because most of the people, when talking about Answer That and Stay Fashionable or the records we were talking about before, most of the people who listen to those records and love those records, I ended up becoming friends with because
it was a small group.
Because there were 500 people in Berkeley, and we were all at the same shows every weekend. So it's, RJ Limepeter is one of them from Timeless and Living Eyes, and he frequently references Answer That and Stay Fashionable to me, and then, the reunion, which wouldn't make any sense unless, included Mark and Vic.
I think with like different cover art, and I know that cover art is iconic, I think that record would have been looked upon as being like, kind of like an early throwback to hardcore kind of record.
Well, thanks. That's what I mean. That's where we were coming from. Like that's why we call it Behind the Times, because we were behind the times. We were in a scene that was Jawbreaker centric and Crimpshrine centric, and which we loved. And, Green Day were the biggest in the scene before they were the biggest in the world. And, we loved all that stuff, but what we found first was the Germs and Black Flag, and that's what we wanted to do. And we, and Negative Approach and the Damned. It's funny, like listening to, we grew up listening to the Damned as well. And, the British stuff, all the early punk stuff we were listening to, more so than the current stuff. And that genre of hardcore is what we were trying to do. But I never really considered the album cover. That's interesting. You're right. Yeah, we made a satire album cover of a relatively current movie, right? I mean, Reservoir Dogs had come out
3 years before?
Maybe. Was it? So Answer That came out in 95.
And it's like Reservoir, 91, 92,
91,
right?
yeah.
91, yeah. Okay.
91. So 4 years. So as adults, we know that was a blink in time.
But then it felt like forever.
I fanned on Quentin Tarantino.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he cool? I've heard
he was so nice to me. This was now a long time ago, but it was modern times. I was coming out of the gym at 8,000 Sunset. Have you been to that plaza? It's still there in here in Hollywood. It's Sunset and Crescent, and
Maybe.
there's a courtyard, and there was a little makeshift bar outside of Starbucks where people would sit with their Starbucks, and the escalators emptied into this courtyard and from the Starbucks. So when I was leaving the Crunch and descending, as I was going down, I could see that Quentin Tarantino awaited me at the base at my landing, merely feet away, and I was out of control, like I was in the John Waters stack that you read, and I just went up to him and said, "Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt. Huge influence. Love you. Hardcore band. First record has Reservoir Dogs as the cover." And he was kind of smiling at me like you're smiling at me now. He was just really genuinely like, "All right, man, thanks, cool, nice to meet you." And he was genuinely nice. Or I don't know, around that same time, maybe a little bit later, same thing with Uma. Oh, speaking of Quentin, yeah, I was at I lived at the Standard in Hollywood often, and I was at the front desk. It was probably a weekend night, and there's a lounge behind if you're coming in the front doors of the Standard, you walk through a lounge to get to the front desk. It's a big open area, and they had like mid-century modern hanging bulb lights that kind of snake down, and you would hit them and they would bounce around, and you'd hit them with your head and you'd be embarrassed everyone would see you, and really low riding couches on a shag carpet that they laid in the center of this room. And beyond the carpet was the front desk, and beyond the front desk was this like box that models would just hang out in and get paid all night long to hang out in the box and read books in their underwear.
For real?
For real. I went with one of those girls to an Andy Warhol exhibit. I just remembered that. Okay, so that's crazy. And I turn around after like talking to the front desk about something. I lived there, so it was like family at this point, sort of. And I turn around, and Uma's just sitting there on the couch facing me. And I said, "Oh, hi." I introduced myself first and last name. Havok.
You said Havok. I was going to ask
Oh,
you
yeah.
if it was Havok.
Yeah. "Hi, my name is Davey Havok. I love you." So if anyone who's listening to this thought at any point that I was cool, no longer. She smiled. She looked up. It looked like she was looking at an alien, some sort of strange bird, some tropical bird, some leftover club kid from the Limelight. But she was smiling, and she said, "Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Uma." I said, "Nice to meet you. Bye."
I got to go now.
I gotta go. Wish I weren't doing this. I just saw Cowgirls Get the Blues for the first time the other night. I'd never seen it.
It's a great fucking movie.
Fuck yeah. It's so John Waters. I feel it's the most Waters Van Zant that I've ever seen. It's really fun.
It's fun going back and watching all those like kind of quirky 90 films, because there's like it's such like a lost style.
Genre. Yeah, like the Gregor Rocky and the Gus Van Sant and then Todd Solondz and Harmony Korine, of course. That whole like really, really gritty forward scene of indie art film people from the 90s was, at the time, we didn't, Jarmusch, who predates that, but really came to mainstream-ish popularity back then too, could be included in that conversation.
Yeah, I guess Tarantino's almost like the Nirvana, or like the
right.
Green Day, or Kevin Smith too, with like Clerks, where it kind of changed the economy of those types of films, and eventually I guess like it kind of like takes that whole sector of film away, or that sector of film disappears. You can't really blame it on those guys, but like it does bring that to the mainstream.
Yeah.
And it's almost like everything kind of happens post Nirvana. Like there's a cultural shift that I defined myself I framed myself at the framing store today with motioning to a huge like 8x8 frame that's leaning on the wall behind me of this just repellent Nirvana shirt.
And it's like this, I've never seen it before, but it was a shirt that was being framed. Have you seen the Nirvana shirt with the cover of Nevermind, but instead of the baby's head, it's Kurt Cobain's head?
That can't be like, that must be
It must
bootleg.
have been a bootleg. It was
Yeah.
on some tie-dye shirt.
Whoa.
And I said, this is awful. How long has this been sitting here? And they said a while. It'd take a while to get it. I go, who is they? Who did this? And it's Wasteland, the vintage clothing store, which is a chain here in California. It might be a chain across the world.
I don't think we have them here yet.
Okay, we had them in the Bay. I remember there was one in San Francisco, and I just had a flash of seeing Billy Joe Armstrong in there because I would rarely go to San Francisco and go shopping, but I remember running into Billy there in like 93 or something. It was like right after Dookie, and I was like, "Whoa, damn, he's out in public." I hope he's okay. This is it. This is the time. But yeah, they're hanging it on their wall, which would lead me to think that it wouldn't be a bootleg. Because why are you hanging a bootleg on your wall?
But it's like a weird, like, Steve Aoki now has got like a grift going where he's telling people to get their records graded and seal them in like a Mylar box, and then they give them like a little number grade at the top. They do it with comic books and they do it with trading cards.
Right. Like go. What are the grades?
Yeah, like it's like 9 point. You get like a 10.0 is the highest you can get.
What's the comic book grade? I used to know that. Silver,
Wizard, Wizard was the comic ages was Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze.
No, not
Age.
I thought you were talking about the quality of.
Oh, yeah, that's what they do, but it's like a number system, like Pitchfork.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
And then they seal them in a Mylar box. Maybe another company does like color grades for it, but they have. And Steve Aoki's trying to get people to do that with their records because I think he's got like a piece of this company. Someone told me, allegedly. But
wait, the company does it? You pay someone to do this?
You send it to a company, yeah, and then they like appraise your record for you, and then seal it, and then send it back.
But you give them money to do this.
Yeah, you give them money for this like the privilege of having your record,
having them
sealed away,
right,
forever. And this has become like I don't know, like a thing people are doing. But he was showing a bunch off on Instagram, and a lot of them were just bootlegs. Bootlegs have become really collectible for people. I know, it's weird. It's a very weird thing to see happen.
Yeah, I guess that's it's very poetic.
There's also like, like bootlegging used to be something where you had to burn the number off the record. Like you never want to be exposed for being a bootlegger.
No.
But now there's whole Instagrams where people are just like openly bragging.
Yeah. The whole culture of the t-shirts for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bootlegger.
But in defense of those are, it's different than just stealing someone's music and pressing it on vinyl and selling it. With the shirts, the popular quote unquote bootleggers are being inspired by the band, creating a shirt that may in fact have the band's name on it or may not. It's just a little different.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like,
if it's that, but then there's usually oh my God, they're just people mercilessly bootlegging AFI shirts on the internet. It's crazy. There's no artistry to it. There's no reference. They're just taking AFI designs and just printing them and selling them, much like the early 7-inches.
Yeah, and I think obviously there's huge problems with that. But I mean, even like the ones where they're reinterpreting the artist's aesthetic, I guess I'm of two minds. Like, do whatever the fuck you want, but also at the same time, like, yeah, but a lot of these artists had defined aesthetics, and they
correct
had this thing that they wanted, and that's what they put out.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Entirely with you on that. The ones that I'm defending go so far from that, where it's clearly not being confused with something that the artists themselves made by anyone who's truly familiar with the artist.
So I can make a very proud of you shirt and just put your head on both of the characters on it.
That would be a good example.
It's a good example. And
yes, you can. Any of those type of bootlegs that involve more of me, I always really enjoy. I saw some I've seen like a Frank Zappa shirt, a photo of me. Or wait, does it say Davey Havok or Frank Zappa? No, it's me. It's a photo of me and it says Frank Zappa.
That's awesome.
Yeah, see, that's great.
Uh, were you blown away by how
Yeah.
intense people's reaction were here?
Weren't you?
I was blown away.
It's shocking.
Well, because I feel like to me, people like wrote me about it because I know you. Like they were like, "It's crazy as look." I'm like,
is it?
well, that's the thing. I'm like, he's
like...
the most consistent, one of the most consistent people I know. Like to me, like not to say that you don't change as we all do as we change, but like you are. Like I could set my watch by who you are fundamentally, which is a person that's open to changing and open to like, I don't feel like this is something where like you just flipped a switch and went from like, answer that and stay fashionable era
that's
to
what
this.
People are acting. Yeah, it's and that's I think probably when I thought about it a lot as it was very pervasive for those moments in time, and you were getting texts and I was getting texts, and everybody who knows me were getting texts. And the texts most of the texts that I got were like from Damian saying, "Look at this crazy text I got." I got not Damian going, "Hey man, like what is that a wig?" I mean, anybody who knows me knows me, and anybody who knows AFI knows AFI. But I think here's what happened, because a lot of what you see on the internet was the internet comparing me to what I looked like 20 years ago or 25 years ago. So I think what happened was it somehow reached the right people who aren't AFI fans, who know who Davey Havok is because they know what Sing the Sorrow or December Underground is, and didn't know anything before that or anything after that, and decided that I looked like whatever for always and ever or something, But yeah, it was shocking that anyone would be shocked that I changed the way I look.
I think it's also because, and I said this to people when you weren't on the other end of the conversation. I think it's because you still look good. And that's thanks. Like normally when you see someone like later in their career, they just look bad compared to how they used to look. They don't look good in a different way.
Well, thanks, Damian.
So I think that was like I think there was a lot going on there. I wrote you and said you look like Lee Hazelwood.
Right. Yes. Which it's.
I hadn't seen the stash. That was my first time seeing the stash because it's been so long since we've.
A lot of compliments, really. Mostly complimentary. There was some good, like, name play. I think Jade Puget hit me with Dark Twain.
Dark Twain.
Yeah. Yeah. And then RJ Line Peter had Bob Ross.
Oh, like Bob
Ross. Yeah, really good. And then Adam Carson said Scary Garcia.
Oh, I would never put Grateful Dead on you. I feel that's too harsh.
But we're, there is an aesthetic going on there. Yeah. But it was Damian, it was weird.
Yeah.
It was straight, like, what's going on? Certainly no one, again, it would be impossible for anyone who has continued to participate in art that I've created for the past 20 years to be participating in shock over me looking different than I looked like the last time there were pictures of me on the internet.
Yeah, and you also realize like how much of this is about playing to people's nostalgia.
Yeah.
And like just how much of what you do as a person in a band is going to be perceived by people through the lens of their nostalgia and like whatever like moment they were.
Yeah.
Like,
whatever moment they decide to transfer upon you.
Yes, exactly. And like,
yeah.
And that's like, that's what I've always loved about you guys is that it's always been like, it was never the same band from record to record and not like even just sonically, but like everything about it. But that to me is the consistency, is that it was never the same thing again.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, we need it. Like when you're I need that. just in life. I always artistically need to be moving forward, and aesthetically need to be moving forward as an individual. And I'm always looking for new things to be inspired by, or old things to be inspired by in a new way. And that's what translates into everything, into life.
So in the Substack, you said the very first song you guys covered was an Angry Samoans song.
Yes.
What song?
They saved Hitler's cock. That's the correct response. You're like, why didn't he say which song it was? Because it's that one.
That's insane.
And there's a very simplistic reason that it was that one. It is that line. I don't know if you know that song, but that guitar line was the first thing that Mark was able to play.
Yeah, it's a very simple, very simple guitar.
Now that we do that, I feel like it's almost. That was almost. Is that like Iron Butterfly or something?
It's kind of Iron Butterfly like.
Kind of. I'm sure Samoans listen to Iron Butterfly.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But not a great song, but I mean, just an insane song. But we covered a lot of Angry Samoans, a lot. We love the Samoans. Lights Out. We covered Not of This Earth.
Oh, fucking awesome.
We covered Not of This Earth. We covered Inside My Brain. Yeah, I remember. I can picture us playing probably the first show that we ever played as AFI outside of the party. The first show that we played was at Phil Green's house, at Alexa Green, his older sister's party that she had while we were in high school, and we played the same songs. We had like 6 songs that we knew how to play, probably 2 of which were originals, somewhere around there, and we played it twice in a row, and everyone exited the room we were playing. I mean, we were especially bad. Samoans may or may not have been in that set list. They probably were. I remember Descendants being played, maybe Commando. We played Commando by the Ramones at lunch at high school. We got to play in like the lunch area, one lunch at high school, and we did play Commando. But I do remember the first like show, sort of. There was an amphitheater. There was a small amphitheater in the town that we formed in, an outdoor mini amphitheater. And we played there with the other local bands. And I remember playing, Strange Being in a Distant Land. I look up, there's a hole in my head, and it really hurts. Step down, look at the turf. I'm not of this earth. Yeah. So, yeah. And I remember what I was wearing. I was wearing Life's a Beach skull shorts. It was a pattern made of skulls and crossbones, not to be confused with the Vision Streetwear, which sounds like the same short, but it doesn't look the same. And they were gray and black Life's a Beach shorts. And I was wearing, now bear with me on this. I think I still have it. I was wearing a Crow t-shirt, The Crow.
Oh, the movie, okay. The Crow. That's fucking awesome.
No. Okay. So no, Damian, not the movie, The Crow. There was no movie. There was anywhere near the movie. This was an underground comic book, which was supposed to be a quarterly, and it was supposed to be done my freshman year, 89 to 90. But it only came out 89, 90, 91, 92, and then into 93. There was only 4 comics, and it finished by the time I was in high school. Finished by the time I was a senior, and I love this comic. And nobody knew what it was. Yet every Halloween, I dressed up as the Crow, and they'd say, and like the civilian girls were like, "Are you an evil clown?" I'm like, "No, I'm the Crow." Now the comic book, as I recall, I have them. I found them somewhere in my house, and I don't have comics. I found them in my bookshelf, and I have them. And the comic was very different than this film that they made. The Crow was not a rock star. He did not play guitar. There was like Cure lyrics in it, as I recall. I think there might have been, I remember seeing Cure lyrics, and I think there might have been Buzzcocks lyrics, unless I was conflating it with something else. But yeah, it was really dark and really cool, and then it became really lame, and it's remained to be really lame. And I would not wear a Crow t-shirt today because the context has changed, but that's what I wore.
It's so funny you say it because, like, obviously, at first I thought you meant the band Crow, but you know the movie Crow. You're right. Like the comic book it wasn't huge by any stretch of the imagination, but it was definitely like a comic book that had kind of this cult following around it. It was like the guy's wife had died or girlfriend had died, right?
Yeah, it was really fucking dark and angry.
And like he wrote it kind of as a response to dealing with the trauma, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? And it was, like I remember that comic book. And it's funny because like only now I'm like, oh, that's a lot of that sort of like AFI goth aesthetic is kind of like that Crow comic book aesthetic.
Yeah. But it was part of all of that I was attracted to. I was attracted to the Crow comics. I was attracted to Propaganda magazine. I was attracted to the propaganda videos. I was attracted to, Skinny Puppy and Knights Are Up, and of course The Cure and Christian Death, and all of that really came together. So it wasn't so much the Crow itself. It's just that at that time in the early 90s, that was part of what was going on in that genre of art, and David Lynch. I mean, right then, David Lynch was, when I was that age and getting involved in all of that stuff, you had, Blue Velvet had just happened. You have Midnight Movie, Eraserhead, and then Wild at Heart is coming out. And then, here's Twin Peaks. It's important.
I think for like kind of more like our generation, Twin Peaks was kind of like Rocky Horror Picture Show might have been for the generation prior, where it was
I think that's a fair analogy.
Like it was such an early on point to kids that were like going to be like weird, and like I'm like a weirder kid. Like I like this.
Yeah, I relate to this. Yeah. Far less horny than the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh my! Well, no, actually, have you read Laura Palmer's Secret Diary?
Well, they don't show you the secret diary.
No, but
I guess you're right, though. I mean, once you get into Fire Walk with Me, it's quite horny.
Quite horny. And then I remember buying that book. Like that book might be my sexual awakening.
Okay, there you go.
Because
that's great.
I mean, 14 reading that, there's some intense parts to that book.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I was relieved. I was talking to my mother the other day, and she brought up the Rocky Horror Picture Show and when I was a child, and that record, which I bring up a lot because it had such a impact on me. And I was relieved to hear her talk about it and talk about going. She's like, yeah, I used to go. I didn't ask her about it. She was just talking about it. I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't want to talk about this with my mother. And she starts talking about how she used to go at like that period of time to the midnight movies, and I'm squirming. I'm like, I don't want to hear about my mom going to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. This is not anything I want to hear. I'm like, oh yeah, mom. And she's like, and she just like as a missive says, I didn't know what it was about. I just like to throw toast. And I'm like, fuck yes. I don't know how that's possible that you can miss what's going on, but great. She's like, I just like to sing and dance and throw rice. And
That's
toast.
Awesome.
I'm like, fuck yes. Okay, good. Because I related to it in a few more ways than that. Oh no.
Yeah, I watched it with my kids the other day.
No.
Weird film to watch.
Don't watch that with your children, Damian. That's fucked up.
Not my youngest.
I don't care.
I saw it at like 8 years old on TV.
Yeah, but that's fine. You don't, as a parent, you shouldn't watch that with your children. Not that you're showing it to your children, it's that you're putting children in position of having to watch orgies
with their parents.
With their parents. Very fabulous, song-filled orgies with their parents.
I watched Basic Instinct with my aunt. That was a very upsetting experience.
That's really uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable.
The soundtrack for the Crow movie, though, has some sick songs on it.
So I was so mad at the film that I never owned the soundtrack, but I know that it didn't have like Burn on it by The Cure, and I think Thrill Kill Cult was on it. I think like maybe Black Tape for a Blue Girl, or one of those, like a lot of those, one of the project bands, maybe Love Spirals Downward. No,
Nine Inch Nails does a Joy Division cover on it.
Right, which is very good.
Rollins Band does a Suicide cover on it.
Oh, that's right.
But then the most shocking is that Pantera does The Badge by Poison Idea.
That is very shocking, and I have not heard that because that one wouldn't have reached me.
It was I got it on like a 12-inch at some point, and it's actually a pretty faithful cover. It doesn't touch Poison Idea's original, but it is.
No, I mean, no one can touch Poison Idea.
It's a weird one, and also Jane Siberry's on that, who was like a Canadian new wave kind of icon. She had like the main single off that record.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, she kind of had like a moment in the U.S. off that, like 120-minute kind of.
Oh, maybe I know the song. Was it Faith in the Muse? That's who it was, right? They were on.
Muse. Yes, I think so.
I think they were on it. What wasn't there a Thrill Kill Cult song on it?
There's a Thrill Kill Cult song on it too.
Is it?
Juice and Mary Chain are on it.
Oh yeah, I mean, what a great soundtrack. Jesus, yeah. I mean, it's almost like a Sofia Coppola soundtrack in its value.
Yeah, I also saw that something that I don't think is real, but in this movie Stepmom, there's a Davey Havok that plays piano.
What?
In the movie Stepmom.
What is Stepmom?
It's a heartbreaking movie with Julia Roberts and it's her connection with her stepmom.
What? From what era?
It's like 90s. I saw it.
There's a Davey Havok?
There's a Davey Havok listed.
The person's named Davey Havok in the movie, the character.
No, the person who plays piano on the soundtrack.
It says Davey Havok.
It says Davey Havok.
I can't play piano.
I that's what I'm like. I wonder if he's just named himself after you.
She said, "I know you, boy, and you cannot sing." I said, "That's nothing. You should hear me play piano."
We got our Smiths lyrics coming up constantly on this show today.
It's the 90. It happened in 96. This film.
I think it's like late 90s.
That has to
maybe early 2000s. Maybe early 2000s.
Okay, if it's early 2000s, at least I have existed on record for a decade at that point where someone might have been making a joke.
Well, there's 3 wrestlers named after you, right? We established.
Yeah. Now, Damian, is it 3? Is it 3 total? I was mentioning this the other day in a van. I'm like, yeah, there's because we didn't know what it was, but we had received a request to use a song in a video game or something that was wrestling related, and we're like, what? And it was Strength Through Wounding, right?
Yeah.
Off of Black Sails and
CM Punk, right?
Okay, right, but they didn't tell us that.
Okay. And
we know that CM we didn't know at the time that he was using it, but afterward, posthumously, if you will, sort of, we learned that he had done that years ago. We knew that he had in the past used that, but we didn't know that that's what we were being asked. And then we finally were told this is for the CM Punk part, and management didn't know what that meant, but we knew, like, no, this guy, when he was an underground wrestler, used our song because he liked us and he's a straight edge person. Yes, use the song. And it was during that conversation where I was like, yeah, it's really, this wrestling thing is strange, you guys. There's like several wrestlers that call themselves Havok because with a K.
And you guys have been used many times for wrestlers' entrance music.
Okay, yeah.
Lots of, like, CM Punk obviously being probably the most well known. He's used you guys for years and kind of like during his big indie run.
Right.
But there's lots of wrestlers, like many shows I've been to and heard AFI songs as wrestlers have come to the ring.
It's so wild because it's just like not a violent music.
No, but that's the thing about pro wrestling. It's also like so dramatic.
Sure, theater. Yes.
Like it's very theatrical.
Yeah.
And I feel like once again, we're talking about Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like, if you were a young person and you're like, fuck, I just don't fit in. And then all of a sudden AFI's on MTV or Saturday Night Live. You're like, fuck, this is what I needed. Like, this is so I think for a lot of these people, there's a lot of like punks and punk adjacent people in pro wrestling. Like, I think AFI is their Nirvana or their Green Day. Like, this was
That's
their
wild.
gateway.
I mean, yeah, that's a wild, it's a wild thing.
Yeah.
I mean, because the crossover never existed. That crossover never existed when we were kids.
No, the wrestling thing. Well, I don't know. There's like this, like, okay.
I mean, there's Lou Albano,
There's Lou
but
Albano, and then to go back to Angry Samoans. Before Angry Samoans, they were Vom, and
tell me more.
The lead guy in Vom is Richard Metzger, who used to write for Rolling Stone magazine and would write about pro wrestling in Rolling Stone. He also wrote songs for Blue Oyster Cult. I think he wrote lyrics for Blue Oyster Cult.
So wait, I'm sorry. I know we're talking about wrestling, but now we're talking about Vom.
Yeah.
The Samoans like began in the late 70s?
Late, and Vom is just before, and I think it's just like maybe Metal Mike Saunders was in Vom.
What did it sound like? Was it like LA like Laurel Canyon kind of acid rock stuff?
No, it's definitely like punk, but
it's
like
punk?
Yeah, but a lot of punks really fucking hated him because it was like punk, but they have like a live sex showy kind of component to it, and it was like punk in a way that I think from talking to some people back that were around back then, younger people, they felt they were making fun of punk with what they were doing.
Oh, that it was satire.
Yeah, they felt that it was like
the Meat Men.
Kind of, yeah, like Meat Men, but I think they felt that it was like old people doing it. About their scene.
Got it.
Coming from within.
So Vom were older men, but Mike
slightly older.
Wasn't Mike?
He would have been younger. Like I got to get more into the history of it, but I know from like the Red Cross guys, there were a couple other people that were on the show that talked about Vom being like almost like a negative influence on them in a way where they were just like, yeah, I just wasn't into that at all. I love Vom. Like they've got like Electrocute My Cock.
Okay, it sounds like
very,
they like the cock.
Yeah, they love the cock.
Samoans like to sing about cock.
But he would write about pro wrestling in, I think, Rolling Stone. He wrote about the first WrestleMania. And there's Beauregard, who was like a territory wrestler from Texas. And then he moved up to Portland, Oregon, and cut a psychedelic rock record up there and hired this hotshot young guitarist he heard at a practice space, which was Greg Sage from the Wipers.
Oh, wow.
Pre-Wipers. So he was like a teenager in this band with this pro wrestler. So there's like these weird connections, but like not anything
not like skateboarding.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like where Brody King and, Andy from Every Time I Die are all pro wrestlers now wrestling.
Right. Like there was just not that.
No.
It's like these people were sex workers. These people were skaters. These people were what other like crossover was there?
Yeah, like street urchins.
Yeah,
artists too, right? Like art school kids.
Yeah, art school for sure. Yeah, art school kids and poets and fashion, but it wasn't like and wrestling.
There is one though, Robert Brookside from England. He's considered the greatest small room wrestler of all time.
Okay.
Because he was wrestling at a time when wrestling was getting less and less popular. So as the audience was getting closer and closer, so you had to make it look more and more real.
So you're talking like the late 80s, early 90s?
Yeah, but he broke in kind of late 70s. So the same time he's breaking into pro wrestling, he's getting into punk. So we saw The Clash when they played Liverpool. He saw Bad Brains. He was at the Cox Bar reunion the first time they got back together in like the mid-90s, I think, in Germany. He was at like crazy stuff. He ran a pirate radio station.
Cool.
The guys from Scream used to stay at his house all the time.
Whoa, cool.
Crazy. But he was like also this like, big tough pro wrestler at the same time.
That's wild.
Yeah. He told me the other day about bringing Huggy Bear to a wrestling show one time.
The band?
Yeah.
Whoa. I saw Huggy Bear.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Well, that's really wild. Yeah. I saw them with, Bikini Kill probably 50 times.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Huggy Bear and Tiger Trap and Bikini Kill. And
I heard a rumor at one point there was going to be a tour potentially with you guys and Bikini Kill on it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You mean like back then?
No, more recently.
Oh, that would be fucking awesome.
I don't know if I should
Oh, Kathleen Hanna doesn't want to tour with us.
No, it was going to be, I'll cut this part out, but it was going to be you guys, them.
Oh, well, that's crazy.
That was the plan. And then
I can bring us back in because I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay. Not to get off topic, but on topic, you mentioned Scream.
Yeah.
I have a question about Swizz that I think you could probably answer. Or more specifically, Dag Nasty. Mm-hmm. The Sean Brown version of Can I Say, which was something of legend when we were kids, but I did hear, had that ever been released prior? Was that released prior to the Dave Smalley version?
No, not prior to.
Okay.
It was released, I think, in the early 90s.
Okay, that's why I've heard it.
Yeah, Selfish Records, I think, did it.
I see. But there was so interesting to me that back then, the information that there was a Sean Brown version of that record had reached me. And I knew that, but I had never heard it. And then it came out and then I'd heard it. And of course, like anything else, everyone was like, oh yeah, the original version is better.
I think it's interesting that is almost like the Black Flag debate for, once again, like a different generation. Like, who's your Dag Nasty singer?
Right. And me, I Can I Say it was just, I fucking love Can I Say to this day. I love that record. And I had only heard the Dave Smalley version, and I prefer the Dave Smalley version because that's the version that I grew up with. And I mean, to me, that was it for Dag Nasty for me. But
then there's like
started in it. Can I Say for me?
But then Wicked at Danko's, like, there's like a whole generation of kind of like quirky emo that I think owes a lot to that record.
I see it probably for me, like anything that could fit the category in any sort of even far-reaching version of a category called quirky emo would be something I don't want to listen to.
But like, once again,
including the record you just mentioned.
To talk about your contemporary technology lyrical gripe that we both connected on.
Yeah.
I feel like there's that breaking of the fourth wall moment on Wicked at Danko's on the track where he's like, house spilling malt liquor on his minor threat sticker. Like, I remember getting douche chills hearing that for the first time, like being like, oh, that makes me feel so uncomfortable.
Yeah, the great point. Oh man, that's so bad. See, like, yeah, I mean, no. See, no.
Wicked at Danko's walked so Adam and his package could fly.
I refer to my previous statement.
Definitely. I'm not making it a great argument for this. I've been introduced to a lot of interesting characters through your Substack. Mr. Laporte.
Oh,
Portrait.
Oh, wow.
I'm obsessed with this. You drop it casually, but this guy sounds fucking unbelievable.
I could write an entire piece on this man. So Christian was my math teacher. He was my freshman year. It was Algebra 1. And then I had him for Algebra 2, but he didn't teach calculus or geometry. So I only had him for 2 years. And he was from France. He was at the fucking Sex Pistols show. And he loved the Sex Pistols.
The Sex Pistols show in Paris, right? Where like Susie
the one in Paris, yes. He was at that fucking show.
Crazy.
Where Susie showed up topless, essentially, with the Bromley contingent, right? As we understand it, right, Damian?
Susie shows up and she's wearing like the outfit from the Night Porter at the SS cap.
Right. So essentially topless, SS cap, just trolling. So he's there. He saw the Sex Pistols, and he finds out that I've started this punk band, this hardcore punk band, and he was one of our first supporters. Like there was my dad and him and like a couple of our friends. Even like maybe there were 20 alternative kids in the school that we went to and in the greater town that we formed in, which was not Berkeley, just for those who are listening, we formed 2 hours north of Berkeley in this tiny town, and then we moved to Berkeley in 1993. So there were these early years where Vic Chalker was our bass player, and I was in high school, and Christian was my math teacher, and he would stop class when I would come and bring him our 7-inches as we would release them, and he would stop class and say, "Okay, class," in his thick French accent, like, "Okay, class, this is what is important. The math, oh, no. The math, it doesn't matter. It's not real life. That is high school. That is here. That is now. This is life. This is important." And he would put on fucking Dork. Here's NyQuil. It was fucking awesome. And that happened with every 7-inch. He would stop. He would play the records in class, even when I went on to not have his class. And I would show up to give him the 7-inch. He'd play it, and he'd just be really, really emotionally supportive as well as playing the records. And and he was. What did I say his relationship to Winona Ryder was? Did I say it?
Babysat her.
Yeah, because. Yes, he babysat her. I thought I'd conflated him with Timothy Leary. I think Timothy Leary was her godfather. But he saw, so this is, AFI formed in 1991. And we are 4 teenage boys making hardcore music. And in 1991, that means that you love Winona Ryder. You love her. Because Heathers had happened. And then soon Beetlejuice happens, and there was Roxy Carmichael, and there was the Jarmusch short where she's the cab driver. You just love Winona Ryder. And so if you're us, you're thanking Winona Ryder in your thank list for existing. And Mr. Lepotre, he sees that. Mr. Lepotre, right? Is that how you...
your pronunciation is better than mine. Your French accent, I was like, man, you got this down.
Oh, no, you do not. I cannot do it. It's from reading all the Baudelaire, the Foucault, Sartre.
I took it in school for like 12 years, and I get
the accent from the authors and Godard. Oh, yeah, I said I was reading Truffaut, so anyone who's paying attention knows I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I meant Foucault, okay?
It washed over me, so...
Rimbaud. I do love the French authors and directors quite a bit, but we digress. I love Lepotre more because he was really responsible for helping us. And so he saw that we thanked Winona Ryder, and he's like, "Why are you thanking Winona Ryder?" It's like, "Oh, we just, it's Winona Ryder." He's like, "Oh, I know her, Noni. Her name's Noni. That's how I found out her name was Noni Horowitz, right?" I think, if I remember correctly, from being a child. And we couldn't believe it. And I was like, give Christian, can you give Noni a 7-inch? He's like, yeah. I don't know if he ever did. I could tell, I don't know if I've told this, probably. I did eventually meet Winona. I have a great Winona Ryder story. It's very, very long, but I don't know. Maybe we'll save it for another episode. It seems...
I've heard we've had one amazing Winona Ryder story on here. So
from me?
No, it was from Stephen McDonald, who wound up playing in Courtney Love's band when she was like super tight with Winona Ryder.
Oh wow!
And it's a pretty harrowing tale.
Oh wow, mine's not. Mine's just like magical.
Okay, this is definitely not the magical.
No, mine's like it's very wholesome and magical and long.
Do you know what brought him to your town?
Fuck, I don't. It's crazy because that's a great question, Damian, because he was from Paris and we were essentially in the Ozarks. We were in Northern California, but 2 hours north of San Francisco, it's pretty quiet, which is why we started the band, because we needed more than what was going on there. And we were close enough to Gilman Street to drive. We would drive every weekend, as you probably saw in the Substack at some point. But as soon as one of us was old enough to drive us to shows at Berkeley at Gilman Street, we would go nearly every weekend to go see shows. And then we caught on to the Berkeley Square, which would have shows during the week, which would sometimes result in us showing showing up back in town at dawn and being unable to sing at choir rehearsal, and having your choir / drama teacher being mad at you for having gone to see Green Day and No Effects at the Berkeley Square.
You're like, talk to our math teacher. He's down.
Yeah, right. Yeah, go talk to LaPorte. He drove us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he still going to shows? Like, would he?
No, I don't think so. It would have taken that. It would have taken what he didn't look like a punk. And I mean, but again, I mean, what I imagine what first wave attendee did if you weren't one of the people who started all the bands that influenced everybody. I heard that on the radio. You know this, but it was the anniversary of Nevermind the Bullocks, and Lori Majewski on XM radio was saying, yeah, it's the anniversary of Nevermind the Bullocks, and to celebrate, Peter Hook is playing this show. And I briefly thought to myself, I'm like, what? What are we talking about? And then she says, do you recall that at that first Sex Pistols show, that's where Warsaw was formed. That's where the Buzzcocks were formed. The Buzzcocks put on that show, saw the Sex Pistols, formed the Buzzcocks. The Peter Hook and Bernie were there and formed Warsaw. Maz was there. Billy Idol was there. Formed Billy Idol. formed Gen X. Probably formed something else, right? Right,
Well,
Damian?
Well, Billy Idol. No, Billy Idol was. He was part of the Bromley contingent.
Right.
He was at that show in Paris. Like,
Was he not at the first show too, though?
well, no, because the show that they formed at was actually their show that they played at Manchester, the Manchester Free Hall, I think it's called.
Right. That show was
Which
where
the Buzzcocks put on, and also Mick Hutchinson from Simply Red was there too.
Oh fuck, that's crazy.
Have you ever heard the Frantic Elevators? His like punk band. It's amazing.
For all intents purposes, no, I haven't. But that sounds familiar.
I'm going to send you some stuff. There's like
okay, I might. Maybe you sent it to me before.
It's crazy. Like there's one of the covers of the 7-inch has him holding a gun in his mouth about to blow his brains off, like a photo
from Simply Red.
Yeah.
Fucking cool.
One of the big Simply Red songs is actually one of their songs, and I'm trying to remember which one now.
I mean, I only know. Oh God, I can't even. What is the big?
I'm trying to remember now.
Red hit. I can see him on a train.
Yeah, he's got like his hair from a star straight into your arms. Cause is that them? I feel. No, maybe that's not Simply Red. And maybe that's not the tune at all for it too. So it might be hard to determine what I'm singing.
I don't think that I don't think that's the Simply Red song that I know. If it is one. Wait a minute, Damian. Hang on. The first Sex Pistols show that the Buzzcocks put on, Billy wasn't there?
Well, he might have driven up with the Sex Pistols because that wasn't their first show. That was like their first show was at fucking art school in London.
Oh,
that they did like a show there first. I think that's
it was at the school.
Yeah, it was at the school, and then they might have played another show, and then I think it's like. It's really early in on those first run of shows, the Manchester show, but I think it's like I don't think it's like one of the first three. Maybe it's the third one.
But that Manchester show is the one that the Buzzcocks put on.
The Buzzcocks put it on, and then Steve Diggle was just going out to meet a friend and ended up running into the two of them who were like, "Yeah, we're doing this show," like Howard Devoto. And he was like, yeah, we're doing the show tonight for the Sex Pistols. And he's like, oh, we're looking for a bass player. And he's like, oh, I play bass. And that's how he wound up in the Buzzcocks.
Fuck.
It's crazy. Like you think about, and that's the other thing that's like, and it kind of continues throughout punk. Like these rooms have so few people in them.
Right. This is what I keep thinking. Who was actually there? And everyone that was there made everything that happened afterwards.
Yes, exactly.
Like Robert Smith. Was Robert Smith there?
No, because he would have been in London, right? Or Reading?
I don't know, Damian. You would know. I wouldn't know. I mean, it would make sense he would be in London.
The bass player was in Lockjaw from The Cure, and then he was also in another band that had like.
Do you mean Lowell?
Yeah, they had a punk 7-inch.
That makes sense.
And he was in Lockjaw afterwards, who were on Raw Records, which put out the Killjoys, which is the pre-Dexy's Midnight Runners band.
Whoa.
Yeah.
His voice. Whoa.
His voice is amazing. Yeah.
The amount of times I've tried to sing that song to absolutely no positive ends are many.
Yeah.
It still happens. It'll come on. I'll try to sing it. I just don't understand. I don't know
And then
how he sings.
his solo record is one of the records that they try and say was the thing that killed Creation Records.
It was on Creation.
The guy from Dexy's Midnight Runners.
Yeah.
Solo record, yeah.
It was on Creation. No kidding.
And it was like, but there's a lot of things, people say.
I met Alan when I was living in that hotel we mentioned earlier.
Oh man, was he
with No, wait, was he with Courtney Love? No, he had told me he had seen me at a party the night before. He had seen me at a party the night before and spoke to me. He said, I was there with Courtney and we saw you and I want to know who you are. And now you're in this hotel. And his son he's like, I'm here staying with my son. And his son was like 18 years old and dressed like a skin. And like, we're talking like 2006 or 5 or something. And he was talking to me, and he's like, yeah, what are you doing here? I'm a son, just love making Courtney Love. And I'm like, this guy clearly has something to do with music. And he's like, oh, at a record label, it's called Creation Records. Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Because he like moved to Toronto at one point when he's doing like Pop Tones. Was that the label he did afterwards that signed like the Hives?
No shit.
Yeah, and then he moved to Toronto and or Hamilton and signed the band Sailboats Are White.
Okay, I don't know.
For his label afterwards.
I don't know. I didn't know any of this.
They didn't quite reach the heights of Oasis or My Bloody Valentine or anything like that. But
wow.
But the Hives, he was right on the Hives. He bet on that. And
yeah, they brought it.
They did all right, for him and stuff. Like very. I one time had a long car ride with Kevin Shields from My Bloody Valentine.
That's fucking crazy.
He broke down. He's like,
what do you mean?
He's like, he didn't break down emotionally, no, but he's like, he broke down Creation Records in a very like scientific way for me. He's like, how did we bankrupt the label when the label went bankrupt owing us royalties?
Oh, that's easy. The end.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The end.
Yeah, but
oh man.
Yeah, like there's aren't
we still supposed to get another My Bloody Valentine record?
I think he's working, like he just kind of like works on stuff when he wants to work on stuff. When we went on the long car ride, it was to go to this Dinosaur Jr. summer camp.
Go on.
Dinosaur Jr. put on.
Okay. Where?
In upstate New York, actually near the house, the Pink House where the band recorded.
John Cougar Mellencamp?
Like Woodstock, near Woodstock kind of area.
Okay.
Where Woodstock was, which wasn't in Woodstock, was it?
Do you remember when John Cougar Mellencamp gave away a pink house on MTV?
Absolutely. Oh, no, I don't remember that because we didn't have MTV in Canada. He did literally give away a pink house on MTV.
MTV used to do these great, insane things in the 80s, and they would have these, competition or wouldn't competition, you call in or do something. You didn't really have to compete. You call in or something, and if you wrote in, I think you wrote in, and a winner would receive. Mellencamp had a album at the time called Pink House. So if we looked up that album, saw when it came out, this was the promotion around it, and you won a pink house, and John Cougar would come and play in the pink house. Maybe this is the pink house.
Well, this is going to blow your mind before we get back to the My Bloody Valentine thing. John Cougar Mellencamp released a record on Gulcher Records and was part of the original Gulcher Records scene with the band The Gizmos. Who were one of the first punk bands from the Midwest, muff diving across the USA.
What?
America First. They've got they're a crazy, awesome.
I've never heard of any of this, Damian.
Awesome punk band. I'll send you some of this stuff too. It'll blow your mind. But John Cougar Mellencamp was like their homie and would roll with them. So he's like kind of a punk rocker. Apparently.
Wow.
But
like Soul Asylum.
Like Soul Asylum or Goo Goo Dolls.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant. Right? I meant Goo Goo Dolls, but also Soul Asylum, right? But you can hear the replacements in Soul Asylum, but you can't hear the punk and Goo Goo Dolls.
On the first two Goo Goo Doll records.
You see, I shouldn't be speaking out of line. I don't know I certainly have not heard anything but whatever Goo Goo Dolls was being played on the radio on Live 105 in 1995.
I will. The first two records are pretty sick, kind of like a more metally Replacements vibe.
Okay, so again, Replacements.
Yeah, very Replacements worship for them.
Okay, that's cool. I just heard a Replacements Christmas song where Paul Westerberg opens up by singing, I want to drink beer on Christmas, or I want a beer for Christmas. Do you know this?
No, but you were on our Christmas record.
What?
Yeah, you were on the first Fucked Up Christmas record. We've done
I sang?
3. No, well, you do actually. The B-side of the record was us just calling all our friends in music that we could get the numbers of and asking them to record like a Christmas, a holiday greeting for people.
Oh, cool.
And you sang Wham's Last Christmas.
Fuck yeah.
So, yeah.
Which is tough to sing. I'm sure I didn't sing it well. That is a tough, because my Christmas Eves include a Christmas Carol karaoke with Luke Wood every year, who is responsible for most people knowing that I exist. The majority of people that know I exist is because of the man Luke Wood, who signed AFI to DreamWorks.
I thought you were going to say you signed you to Wingnut.
Right. That would not be the person responsible for people knowing who we are.
That's who's responsible.
But you reminded me of him when Kevin Shields made that quote. End of story there. Yeah. And Last Christmas is a tough sing. Blue Christmas easier.
Yeah.
For me.
That record though, it's funny because I haven't thought about it since it came out. You're on it. Jerry A from Poison Idea's on it.
What?
David Cross is on it. Nelly Furtado is on it.
Fucking awesome.
James Murphy from LCD Sound System's on it.
Back to Luke Wood. Luke Wood has James Murphy playing in his house all the time. Wait, back up. We had Nelly Furtado before Nelly.
We Jerry A, David
after
Cross.
David Cross, the comedian.
Yeah, David Cross, the comedian.
David Cross, the comedian. When we were flying back from, was it Saturday Night Live? Yeah, AFI played Saturday Night Live once. It was ill-fated, like many AFI things were. And do you know the Saturday Night Live story?
No.
People probably don't know this. So, of course, playing Saturday Night Live is a dream to anyone of our generation. We all grew up watching Saturday Night Live. I grew up as a kid watching the 70s Saturday Night Live syndicated episodes. I watched the 80s Saturday Night Live, the 90s Saturday Night Live, love Saturday Night Live. Being on Saturday Night Live was a dream. Couldn't believe it. I mean, to say it's a dream, we never dreamt that would ever be a possibility. But then when it became, maybe that could be a possibility, we're like, please, please. And so, of course, we almost got it once. And then, a very popular brand new rapper, whatever it was in 2006, or maybe it was 3. We almost got it in 3, but then there was a rapper that it was down to 2 of us, and then he got it. And in 2006, all of our team finally beat down the powers that be, and Lauren Michaels agrees to let us play Saturday Night Live. So we're very excited. You're at Saturday Night Live. It's the whole thing, the theater of it. The cast is there. Everyone's really nice. And you go and rehearse. You rehearse it again. You leave. You come back. And we're live. And generally with AFI, something fucks up, right? Like our equipment fucks up. Something happens. Just no matter what it is, something will go wrong. And so we're pretty certain that something was going to go wrong, especially with this because it meant so much to us. And they gave us 2 songs. We played the one song. The show goes on. We play the other song. No hitch. We get backstage. We are all over the moon. Cannot believe how well it went. We played Saturday Night Live. We all felt happy about our performance. We get into the green room, and our management and publicists are all sitting in there stoic. And they were like, that was great. They're like, yeah, you guys are great. What? Why are you guys being like this? What's going on? And they're all looking at each other to see who's going to tell us that the board crashed. The Saturday Night Live equipment, the soundboard crashed while we were playing. So though everything we heard was good, what was broadcast out to the East Coast was just programming, drums, and vocals.
Oh my God.
So like the V&V part, the V&V Nation part that Ronan from V&V wrote on Miss Murder, you could hear that and Adam and me singing. And so we're devastated. I'm super depressed. But on the flight home, as they were broadcasting it, I guess, gosh, the way that I tell the story and the way that I remember it and have always remembered it, there's problems with timestamps here because we wouldn't have flown home the day. Maybe we did. Maybe we flew home after we tracked it. I don't know. But how it went was by the time it reached the Midwest, half of the people who saw it had a fixed version of it. And by the time it hit the West Coast, it was fixed. So that's how fast MTV worked. Yeah. So we weren't flying home, but yeah, so we were getting texts from people saying, what the fuck happened? Or that was great. Or that was great, depending on where they were in the country. And yes, but then on the flight home, David Cross congratulated us and said, great show. So there's David Cross. But yeah, that's the MTV tour. And the after party, there's a Saturday Night Live after party, which at least back then was every night, probably is still now. They would have an after show hang after every show. And when we got invited to play the show, we got invited to the after show, and I met Lorne Michaels, and he said, sorry about that. I promise to have you back to make it up to you. And I said, I will hold you to that. And I knew right then, oh my God, I'm never going to play on Saturday Night Live again.
You might be one of the only people that's ever gotten an apology from Lorne Michaels.
He did. I didn't. Yeah, I did. It was kind of him. Like I met him. That was the only thing we said. I was like, honored to meet you. Thank you for having us. And he's like, yeah, sorry about that. I'll have you back to make up. He said that. And I knew, wow, that's not going to, I didn't know until he said that I'm never going to play Saturday Night Live again. Because at that point I thought, oh, well, maybe on the next, now we are a Saturday Night Live band.
But Green Day's played twice. I can't
That's
think
it?
of too many bands that have played twice. Rance has never played twice, right?
They have Justin Timberlake on there like all the time.
Yeah, I don't think anymore. I think he might not be
Not anymore, huh? Did he do something? Is he fired?
No, well, he got it just got a little weird, I think, and so I don't think he's going to be like
right. It became too much.
Yeah, just too much. Like I think that
really, Green Day's only played twice.
I think Green Day's only played twice. Like it's interesting because I spent like a long time researching the punk history of SNL recently.
Cool.
A series of videos about it, and like very very similar histories. Like the two start kind of at the same place in New York around the same time. Like if you pick New York as the starting place for punk. Right,
sure.
Like 75.
I do.
Yeah, he's like Patti Smith and television are playing at CB's. 6 months later, SNL premieres.
Yeah.
3 months after that, Patti Smith performs on SNL, and then there's sort of this like history, but like it's only Bay Area punk band, so it's like
what Bay Area?
You guys, Green Day, Rancid, and Faith No More
are the only Bay Area.
Well, no, are the only then you have like Sum 41 played one time. Nirvana obviously played twice. But there's not like that many punk bands.
Well, Devo,
certainly. But I mean, like in the more modern-ish era. Like
that makes sense.
90s.
Well, I mean, there aren't modern punk bands.
Well,
I mean, they only let like people who have mainstream success play on that show.
Yeah, to me, I kind of feel like the Turnstile moment will be cemented.
Oh, did they do it?
They haven't.
Oh, certainly they will. I'm driving home last night, like 3 a.m. I get off the freeway, and there's this off ramp that I take all the time to get home, and I always check the wall because there's always giant snipes of whatever is like pop culture happening, and I always get excited to see like, oh, what don't I know about? I don't know what that is. And it's like Turnstile is a band from Baltimore, and I'm like, oh, I know what that is, and they're nominated for 5 Grammys. I'm like, holy shit, I didn't know that. Yeah. So yeah, probably.
I saw the clip of Elton John saying that was his favorite record of the year.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, I swear to God.
Elton John.
Yeah, Elton John.
Wow, I have a great Elton John story too.
Have you? Well, as a Ramones super fan, you maybe would be. Have you read the On the Road with the Ramones book?
No, I forgot about that.
There's a chapter in it about recording the live record, the first Ramones live record in London at the Roundhouse. I think they're doing it.
Okay.
and Ed Stasium says like, and in walks Elton John in full SS BDSM gear. And like walks over to me and goes, "Do you like cocaine?"
Come on.
And I'm like, "Yes, I do." And he pulls out an SS Eagle pendant and unscrews the head, and we just start doing blow all night.
So was it? Well, that wasn't the 70s.
It would have been 79, I think.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay. That record came out in 79.
I think that's when it's recorded. Maybe
recorded, and then it came out in the 80s.
But like still like,
because I mean everything you said 70s until I thought, wait, but that record, right? Wow, that is great.
It's a crazy. Yeah, even in the 70s, that would have been a crazy vibe. Like
I mean, for someone as much of a public figure as Elton John, but I mean, no, in New York.
Well, Billy Idol said when they went to that, when he was on the show, he said when the Sex Pistols went to Paris and played that show, Susie nearly got murdered. Like people were going.
Well, no, I'm talking about it. I'm talking about a different subculture scene. In New York in the 70s.
Yes, definitely. I thought you meant people just dressing up in sketchy gear.
No, that specific sketchy gear.
That specific. I guess, yeah. Well, that's
insert popper for cocaine.
Yes, that's true. You're right. Definitely.
From what I understand.
Yeah, I feel like
from the history that I read.
So Elton's like ready to start going to shows again. I think his attire will change.
Well, I mean that is like so, like thinking about punk aesthetic and the fashion and the look and how and where recently I was contemplating where did they actually, when studs started being adorning jackets, where did they get them? What were they supposed to be? And and thinking about how a huge amount of punk fashion came from the gay underground, from the gay fetish scene and the gay underground, being the rubber belts or the what you're talking about, the Nazi fetish gear and S&M gear, and then what I was thinking about before was the actual studs. Like, what is that for? And I think, do you know the answer? Like the pyramid studs and the rivets, and like how did that? I imagine it came from biker culture and underground gay culture.
Yeah, I think it'd probably be like an implement for inflicting discipline,
pain.
Maybe? Yeah,
right. It was either something that was created to make sadistic gear. Jesus.
Right. There's no functional.
Right.
It's not like a safety pin or a razor.
Correct. Like, and when you look at cowboy gear, like it doesn't. It's just who made this adornment first, where it was appropriated by punks because someone was making it was machine shop stuff.
Yeah.
And probably like you said, like for paddles and flogs and for that particular scene, which then was that referencing bikers, like the leather daddy scene?
Yes. Yeah, like Tom of Finland kind of
right.
vibe.
So Tom of Finland. So Tom of Finland is drawing that, right? And you're seeing the leather daddy, and you're seeing like the S&M gear. But why is he drawing that in the 70s?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Yeah, you're right. Like I don't know, like it's interesting also when you look at like the origin of just like going back to like where punk starts, and like I kind of have gone back to New York as being one of the birthplaces of it because Jane County in like 71 and 72 was cutting demos for David Bowie's management company that he's getting ideas from, but these are like the first real punk records, and Jane County's like,
but Jane's Wayne at that point, right?
Well, Jane's Wayne at that point, yeah,
right.
Like, but even like Jane was saying, like when she's on the show, like she's like, yeah, we were like wrecking where they would go in when Jane lived in Atlanta, like a bunch of people would go in drag and just go into the men's room and fuck with people,
and they call it wrecking.
They called it wrecking.
And fuck, that's cool. And then in the 70s?
In the 70s. Like, could you fucking imagine?
In Nebraska?
In Atlanta.
In Atlanta, that's just so dangerous. Right. These people are fucking warriors.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
They're
Jane
fucking
comes,
warriors.
and then Jane goes to New York, gets involved in like the theater of the absurd, and doing plays with Patti Smith and all that kind
Okay.
of stuff.
Yeah.
And then starts this band, and Bowie's like one of the first fans, and according to Jane, like a lot of the ideas are kind of ripped off of some of Jane's ideas that
Mm-hmm.
Jane was giving to Bowie at the time, but
Mm-hmm.
like like that idea that like punk comes out of queer culture is like 100% true when
Yeah.
you look at like these people that were involved in like in England involved in it, in New
Yeah.
York involved in it, obviously out in West in San Francisco and in Los Angeles and the Screamers and all that kind of stuff. Like it is like,
Ground floor.
yeah, it's 100% out of kind of like queer like aesthetic
B-52,
yeah,
B-52s.
absolutely. I totally forgot about that. You're right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All of it. All
It's
of it.
it's like oh, that's the cool thing about it too, is because it's almost like this global movement that bubbles up around the same time. There's no internet.
Yeah.
It's just like fanzines and friendships that kind of draw everyone together.
And
Letters,
and phone calls.
Tony from the Adolescents, when he was here, said that there was like a culture around sending like notebooks. I forget the name for it, but you would mail a notebook to someone, and then every person would do a different page.
Oh.
It was all through Rocky Horror Picture Show that he kind of got introduced to this whole world.
And they would do it like based on Rocky Horror content?
I guess it was just people that were into weird stuff. So like that's where he learned about a lot of punk bands, when people would write about bands on some of these pages.
Fuck, that's cool. I get it. Right.
So
right. So just write what you're into, like write something that someone needs to know about that is regional, which everything was regional.
Yeah, everyone gets a page and you kind of can write. Yeah, exactly. Like a communal fanzine type thing.
Yeah. Fuck, that's cool.
It's neat. And all this stuff is like before, like, and also there's no economic drive for this, right?
No,
like it's just people like want to be connected because of creativity.
People want connection, and people want to find people who share their tiny little niche interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could talk to you forever, and I've kept you for a very long time, Davey.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even know. Okay.
I wanted to bring up Joe Frankie, I believe. Frank.
Oh, Joe, Frankie. Yeah. Joe was wonderful. I don't know how he passed. Do you know how he passed, Damian?
I don't. And in fact, I was unfamiliar with Fracas until reading about him, and then from you, and have gone back and listened to him. And great band. But he played in Plan 9.
Right, later.
Is that the first Misfits tribute band?
Oh, that's interesting.
They were a rockabilly tribute band too, right? They had a stand-up bass, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh.
I saw them at the Gilman on one of those trips that I made.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Second Coming?
No, Second Coming was hardcore band.
No, I know, but they were on the bill together.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Certainly. So okay. Maybe couple of things. Maybe they were the first.
Yeah. Sorry, I went to a lot of places.
Maybe they had a stand-up. Probably they had a stand-up bass at some point, but I don't think always. I don't know. I don't have much of a recollection of seeing them. I remember Joe started it after Fracas. Were there Hellbillies members in it? Is that where the stand-up bass came from?
That would make sense. I don't think I was familiar with them when I saw them at the Gilman, but now that you're saying that, I'd always kind of wondered where the membership came from.
That's probably what was going on. But so that happened did it happen? Yeah. Did it happen pre-Misfits? Sans Glenn, Misfits Without Glenn reunion thing?
Misfits. It would have been just around that time, right? Because I would have seen them in 98-9, and they get back together in, 98?
Well, no, what I'm wondering is if Joe was doing it at the same time that the brothers were doing the Misfits Without Glenn.
I think that's so. I think that Misfits Without Glenn is like 97, 98, right?
Right, and when did Plan 9 happen?
I saw Plan 9 in 99. They might have been playing shows before that.
They might have been. Joe was great. Joe, like, I was closer I had a stronger friendship with Joe than I had a familiarity with his music, because he had a very classic underground record store called Access Records and Comics in Alameda, and I was staying in Alameda a lot in the like 97, 98 ish, because I would have people crashing in my room at the frat house. And I would go stay in Alameda while they were staying in my room. And and on the street was this record store that I discovered, and it was Access Records and Comics. And he had, I would go in there and get Johnny the Homicidal Maniac and sit there and hang out with Joe and listen to Swans and talk about Rocky Erickson and no, right?
Yeah, Rocky Erickson, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Evil One, that record. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. He loved Rocky Erickson. And we'd play games like Taboo and stuff with his employees, like, you know, just hang out. It was cut out of time, and that it was one of those places where, you know, we just hang out, and then he'd eventually shut the doors and we'd keep listening to music and play games. And Joe, you know, did a zine, and it was called Life is a Joke. And, you know, he was just very much the archetype of a DIY punk rocker who loved music. Man, you could have had him on the show. He would have been able to have a discourse with you far more intelligently than I would have. He knew everything about music too, and he had all these records, and he had toys in there. He loved the Misfits. He loved Glenn, in classic form. This doesn't happen anymore, and it should. Do you remember being afraid of record store people and merch people?
Yes.
Yeah. So I remember, because I was younger than Joe, and I was, probably the first time I walked in, I was, I was probably like 22 or something like that. And he was probably 32, which to me was, as adult as it gets. And, he was kind of giving Glenn, he was buff, tight black t-shirt, big silver belt buckle of some sort, mutton chops. And I'm like, fuck, this guy's going to be intense. He's like, oh, hey, how are you? My name's Joe. I was like, oh man, this guy's nice. But yeah, we became friends, and he was really a special guy, man. He was, if you read this Substack, he was wild. He was a wild man, but not a dangerous person, and just a really kind, good dude. And I still don't know how he died. I caught news that he died from some friends a couple of years ago, but no one knew how. And I still haven't heard. But it's sad I didn't get to say goodbye. But it was a great place. Of course, as the internet happened, and records stopped selling, he fell to that. Not as a human being, but the records. He couldn't sell anything anymore. It was before it swung back and people were buying vinyl. So he had to downsize, and then he had to shut down and just try to do mail order. And then he eventually moved away. The reason that I lost touch with him is that he moved from the Bay after he closed the record store. And I was, by the time, even while I was living there, I was touring so much. But then around the same time that the internet killed record stores, I was out touring even more than ever. But yeah, Joe was great. Yeah, but you saw Plan 9 at Gilman.
I saw him. Yeah, they were like, that was the thing that I loved about the Gilman, is that you would go there, and it's probably still like this today. But like I remember seeing at the drive-in
at Gilman
with Capitalist Casualties.
Yep.
And Fat Day.
Fat Day, did you say?
Yeah. They were like from, someone told me they were Harvard professors, but they were like dressed like gym teachers, and like two of the guitar players had their heads shaved to be male pattern baldness. Glasses, and they would jump on trampolines.
Oh, I think I saw this. This sounds familiar.
I think they played the Gilman a couple times.
Were they on Lookout? That sounds like something that would be on
No,
Lookout.
they were on, I think, like maybe they did something on Slap-a-Ham. No, I don't think they actually did.
Oh, it wasn't grindcore, was it?
It was Power Violence vibed. Yeah.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They
I
would
didn't
jump
see
on
it.
these like trampolines at first, and it would be like this like weird kind of Devo vibe, and then they would just start
Just
playing.
Power Violence.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
full on violence. But
It's interesting that they put. Well, was it a Slap-a-Ham Fest?
no, it was like just like a random Gilman show. Actually, that might have been Plan 9 and Second Coming on that show too.
Yeah.
It might have been all those bands, and it was like, like obviously Capitalist Casualties brought it an element that got into a lot of fights.
Yeah.
And I had a Capitalist Casualties live record that was recorded at the Gilman, but like 10 years earlier type thing.
Yeah.
And on it, they're like, hey, we got you guys in for free. Don't fucking ruin this show.
Right.
And then verbatim said the same thing that night.
Yeah. Those. I mean, I think it was one of those Slap-a-Ham festivals where someone broke Jello's leg.
Yeah, the infamous show. No, because Jello was performing that night, wasn't he? When they broke his leg?
So was it a virus show? It might have been. In my memory, it was because Dead and Gone was playing, and I think Dead and Gone were on Alternative Tentacles, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I was there, but I wasn't inside when it happened. And I remember being outside and being like, fuck, so-and-so just broke Jello's leg.
And that guy was like kind of like part of the scene, right?
Yeah,
Like
the name that I'm remembering right now was someone that was part of the scene. Yeah, it wasn't like a random person.
It's wild to think about some of the stuff that happened at the Gilman, and that it was able to like, it's still here, like
Right.
like not just the external factor, but I mean like
Right.
the dead baby thing where they found
The dead baby thing, that show where
Is it East
Miriam, what's that?
Is it East Bay Ray that called the cops on her or something, or someone from the dead camp?
Oh my God, it was, wasn't it? I forgot about that. When Miriam fucked the banana and peed on the stage,
Yeah.
Ray called the cops, right? Because he became like a weirdo born again Christian, right?
And someone told me allegedly he had feelings for her,
Oh, that makes sense.
and it was like this whole like
Right.
freak out thing,
Yep.
and called the cops, and
That's so fucked.
like I think we played the Gilman 3 times, and there were like venue clearing brawls that
Oh
kinda
yeah.
happened.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because we used to play with, of course, as you know, we used to play with the Utters all the time. A fantastic band. But man, they had this song called Catastrophe, which had upstrokes. It was very like Stiff Little Fingers, and you know the song probably.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And just every time it was just known like this is the fight song. And they were so bummed because they would say, please do not fight during this song. And just every time they would play Catastrophe, there would just be a big fight. And, it was a lot of skins going to see the Utters, because, I mean, the Utters were skins. They were ex-skins. I mean, anyone who's listening to this knows we're not talking about racist people. But to be clear, like the skins in the crowd at the Utters show were also sharps or just working class skins. There was not, by that point, there was no like Nazi element that needed to be dealt with yet. Yeah, they were just fighting, just fucking every fucking song. Yeah. I mean, every time they played that song, and they played at Gilman Street a lot. But yeah, there would be fights. They would try to stop it. Bring your alcohol down the street. Don't drink in front of the club.
Yep.
Do you remember that? Do you remember hearing Nando shout that and Jeremy shout that? Jeremy found the baby.
I remember that was like the one, like, don't drink in there. Like before I even went, like,
Yeah.
It was so storied by the time I went to it that I had all the rules.
You knew the rules. It was like Rocky Horror.
I've been watching videos of like you guys play their Rancid play their music, like Neurosis. Like it was just like hallowed ground, and like playing there for the first time, it was like,
Yeah.
like, this is fucking crazy. I can't believe I get to play here, having like read about it and seen shows here, and then
It's such an important place. I mean, it really, I haven't been there in years, and Ramones acts, I'm in the Ramones now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We're talking about trying to play there, which would be great next year to extend our Christmas shows into a Christmas tour.
It would be it is like yeah, like like you're saying, it's such a special place. And then like when you get into the history of how it was like founded, and like, because I think it's Aaron's mom that found the building, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know.
And
I
then
didn't know how far, because obviously I'm not obviously, but I'm from one generation after that. I wasn't there when it started. I know the lore of it, but I didn't know. That's something I never heard. That's really cool. I mean, it was Tim's, he incited the whole thing, right? Tim Yohannan?
I think Tim Yohannan incited, but it's like the funding for it was, or like one of the main guys behind it. It's like that guy, Captain Beefheart's cousin that ran Alchemy Records.
Tell me more.
He was like one of the main, Alchemy that put up the Melvins and Neurosis and Clown Owly.
Oh, yeah.
And,
I just never noticed that. Wait a minute.
Beefheart's cousin.
What Neurosis records?
Pain
Like
of Mind.
I thought Pain of Mind was on Lookout.
No, Pain of Mind is on there, and then the next record's on Lookout.
What?
The 7 inches on Lookout, and then the
okay. So 7 inches Lookout, then Pain of Mind isn't.
No,
but
the next one. What's the next one? I can't remember.
Through Silver and Blood?
No, it's
before that.
The one they fucking hate. That's like really proggy. Word is Law.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Crowley.
Which I love that record, but
obviously I'm not that familiar with it.
It's like it's
proggy, huh?
Yeah.
It's not like Pain of Mind.
There's a legendary, I think it's the release show for that record where they play the whole record start to finish, and there's like a YouTube video of it that's really good.
Oh, is that Gilman?
Cameras. Yeah, Gilman show, and it's.
So what year was that? 90?
87?
Oh, what?
No, maybe not 87. No, that wouldn't make sense. It's it must be 90. 90. You're right. 90.
For the
Word is Law.
For Word is Law which is the first full length. No, Pain of Mind is the first.
Pain of Mind, which is 87.
Right.
So Pain of Mind, I think, is before the 7-inch. Then, right? Yeah. Goes Pain of Mind, then Word is Law, then the 7. Oh no, then the 7-inch, then Word is Law.
But isn't the 7? I thought the 7-inch was kind of punk.
It is like both the Word is Law is where they start getting more metal and proggy, but Pain of Mind is like raging punk. The 7-inch is kind of raging punk. It's still Neurosis, but like
right. It's but the 7-inch. 7-inch isn't after Word is Law, is it?
No, it's just before.
Got it. That makes sense. Okay, right. Because I remember it shifting on the second record, and then the third record, which is Through Silver and Blood, is where it begins.
No, Souls at Zero.
Oh, that's it. Souls at Zero. That's it.
Which has that riff that's insane.
That's where it really
first
starts to become one of the most ineffable bands.
Yeah.
One of the most fucking unbelievable, unique, influential bands that does not get the credit that they deserve.
No, they kind of like, I think in the same way Refuse gets credit, and obviously Refuse deserves credit for this, but like a band that's like, punk doesn't have to be this thing. It can be this thing instead.
Yeah.
I feel like they were like one of the first bands to kind of like still be punk, but like not.
Oh, I love them.
Same. I miss.
Wait, did I hear that we get another one? Was that a dream? No, we don't.
No.
We know. Okay.
Yeah, like that whole Gilman. Like in my high school yearbook, I thanked Lookout Records.
Right, like we thank Winona Ryder.
Yeah, exactly the same sort of thing. But I'm like, we got Crimshrine, we got Operation Ivy, we got the Chet 7-inch, Corrupted Morals. Roses in there like that.
I mean, we had Jawbreaker, even though they're technically from LA. We had Jawbreaker,
but they didn't do a record on Lookout, right? No.
Oh, you're talking about Lookout. Sorry. Yes, like, no.
Did you guys? Like Larry Livermore beefed with you guys, right?
We didn't know that.
So much later.
I never knew that. I knew he wouldn't sign us. I didn't know it was more than that. But I never read the book. What happened? Like Ben Weasel, like
Yeah.
Ben Weasel
No.
hated us or something.
Yeah, like and it's interesting because I've thought about this a lot now because like this has now become like kind of like internet lore, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it's
So what do
apparently
you know?
he
Because
wanted
here's what it was like living it.
Go on, tell me your side.
Living it was, I had no idea. Larry Livermore wasn't around. Lookout was around, but he wasn't around much anymore unless what was his band with Trey? The Lookouts, right?
The Lookouts, yeah.
The Lookouts. Unless the Lookouts
Potato
were playing.
Men afterwards, right?
Oh, that's it. The Potato Men. Right. Unless Potato Men were playing in like the lobby. We're out front busking, which kind of stopped early on in our tenure at Gilman Street. I feel like after 95, you just didn't see him anymore. I think he moved away. But
Makes sense.
We dreamt of being on Lookout because of the reasons that you're talking about. It was the scene, it was our community, all these bands that we loved were on it. It was such a great label. And Green Day, and Filth and Blatz.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, Filth, oh my God, and Blatz. And so we were hoping, and we would try, and we'd get pass letters from Molly or Chrisser, and we were recording with Andy Ernst, who recorded a lot of the Lookout records. And he's like, I don't know why don't you put this out on Lookout? And we're like, we wish. He's like, I'll talk to Larry. And then he was the one that said like, yeah, he's just, I don't know. He's just not into it. And he didn't give us any more information than that. And that's all I ever knew until like decades later. In fact, didn't I also hear that Larry later also said like he wished he would have signed us, or am I making that up?
That's what I thought I remember hearing too. I think the story I heard is that he went to Ben Weasel, and Ben Weasel was like, "Don't sign him."
Right? Why?
Well, because I speculate
He wasn't even from there.
No, but Chris O'Toole, my friend who does footnotes with me, we talked about this a lot, like AFI in general, like why didn't Lookout sign AFI? And I'm like, well, Ben Weasel, if you look at the hardcore people he associated with back then,
Yeah.
it was very MRR
Okay.
types, right? Like
Right.
it's like the Born Against guys, and
right.
the like I guess post ebullition kind of like world of that.
Yeah.
And so my speculation was that he looked at AFI as not being part of that hardcore scene.
Right. Which we weren't. We weren't political, but neither was he.
No, but I think for him it was almost like an aesthetic thing.
Yeah.
Like that's what like when I was talking about the cover of that first record.
Yes,
I'm like,
exactly.
Is that like if you guys had put it out in a manila envelope with a silk screen of something from time, like
a still life?
Yeah, exactly. Like would that have been
a different sentence?
Sentence on it, yeah.
A different sentence with adjectives, more adjectives.
Like because that's once again going back to At the Drive-In, like it's funny talking to Cedric. Like Cedric, he was like, I always wanted to just be part of that ebullition scene. Like,
yeah,
we weren't able to get into that scene, so we had to kind of like become a different sort of band.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
And I think that's like kind of the case with like a lot of bands, a lot of stuff back then. It was so.
I get that's why, because we didn't fit into the Lookout sound at all at the time, because it was the Peaches and it was the High Fives and it was, and we were aggressive and, throwback and,
You would have been the closest to Neurosis era that they've had.
Yeah, right. But not that, and although ironically, if it was Ben that, blackballed us, Screeching Weasel, we weren't as melodic as Screeching Weasel, but like we were close. Early Screeching Weasel that wasn't on like that pre Brainhurt Screeching Weasel was closer to AFI than really anything that was happening on Lookout at the time. So apparently Ben was like, nah.
But it's interesting when you look at the bands that actually like shift the narrative. Green Day's a little bit different, but they don't really necessarily fit in with any specific scene.
We did not.
and I think the same way At the Drive-In, I think you can say the same about Nirvana in a weird way. Like they definitely did not ideologically fit in with like the the capital G grunge bands, but
Right.
sound wise, they certainly didn't fit in with the Olympia stuff that I think Kurt wanted to be involved with a lot more.
Right.
So it's
Right.
like these bands that are kind of without a country kind of have to go and make their own country, or kind of carve their own path.
Yeah. Like that's and we did within the scene. Like, when I talk about things like this, there was the Lookout denying us, and that group of people disliking us because of what we were into and who we were. But then there was hundreds of other people who were with us, in the Bay. Jesse really had our back, Jesse Luscious, and all the people who worked at Gilman Street, and then of course all the the kids, they would come out to our shows, and then Screw 32 helped us get the Wingnut deal, and then that wasn't great, but still we released a record and we were able to tour. Well, we went on tour. We used this as an excuse to go on tour.
I think it's also a generational thing. Like the generation right behind you in punk, even though they're going to be influenced by the stuff that came out of your generation, there'll be the largest gap between the way they see punk versus the way you see punk.
Yeah.
They're reacting to what you did.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Plus the internet.
Now with the internet especially, it's changed. But I think even back then, like if you look at the way the first wave of punks reacted to hardcore coming in, and granted there were some other mitigating factors, but like,
which we get now as adults.
But it's also like you kind of see it. It always seems to happen in punk where the next generation is going to be like, oh, fuck that. Like, like talking to Nate from the Foo Fighters about when he saw Nirvana, and he's like, oh, it's just sounded like Led Zeppelin. Like I was just not into it.
Right.
And it's because he would have been a hardcore kid in the wake of that grunge scene. Like they would have been like, what do the Brotherhood guys or the Undertow guys have anything to relate to this grunge stuff? That's
sure. Right. I mean, that's my relationship with grunge too. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I'm always like, though, where would you guys have fit in? Like Nitro is almost like the label for bands that didn't necessarily fit in any of these sort of like very defined microcosms back then.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, I think we would have fit in very well on Lookout because that was our community. That's where we should have. That's where we should have been. Us signing to Nitro was bizarre. Like we had the local Berkeley label that we're on that was didn't work, was not working, was not great, and we were trying to find another label, and we knew Lookout didn't want us, and we were constantly trying to find a more suitable home, and no one wanted to sign us ever. But there was one person at Nitro Records, which was just like a project label for Brian Holland, and I believe he created the whole label just to put out his friends' records, who also didn't have homes. Which
One Hit Wonder, I think, was an early one, right?
Not at the time when we signed. There was just the Vandals and Guttermouth.
Oh wow, okay,
that was it. So, and it wasn't Brian who wanted us. His friend who worked there somehow heard us and saw us and said, "You need to sign this band. They're fucking great." And he said, "Okay, if you want to sign them, I'll sign them."
Because it's like Ken Casey from Dropkick Murphys was on the podcast, and he's we talked about Swingin' Utters, and he's got a lot of vitriol for Fat Records and what happened with Fat Records and Swingin' Utters, because he feels like they and I don't know if they forced them, but like they were kind of put in a position where the record was produced in a certain way.
That second Swingin' Utters record,
which I love. I fucking love that record, but I can see
it didn't sound. I don't know what Ken was saying, but
he was not a fan of it.
Of the record. I think it's a great record, but I understand. I mean, we were really close with the Utters, and signing to Fat was something where they were in a similar position where it's like, we need help, and Mike will sign us. But it was a bizarre, everyone hearing about that, I was like, uh-oh, because they were the first band to sign to Fat Records that didn't sound like NoFX and it made no sense other than location.
Yeah.
And other than Mike understanding how great they were. But the fear was that they would go in, because you probably know this, all of those Fat bands recorded with the same engineer at the same studio. It was all in-house, and they all sounded like they recorded with the same engineer in the same studio. And also every band, with the exception of the Swinger Daughters, sounded just like NoFX.
Well, because I think from what my understanding is, Mike is very involved in the recording process of some of these bands.
Like, I don't want to speak out of line here because now I don't really know. Probably.
And I think he said as much when he was on this podcast, but like, certainly I know bands that have said that he's shown up and they finished the record and he's like, nope, let's go and re-record.
Oh my God.
And stuff, which is, and I can get that. It's almost like an Andy Warholian kind of like view on art, and like how it has to be made this way, and I'm going to make this group of people make this.
Yeah.
But I could see that being potentially stifling. And I'm not saying that happened with the Swinging Utters, but I could see how that would have maybe shifted the direction of a band, like maybe even you guys. Like if you wind up on Fat Records, would you feel as safe and as comfortable to kind of like do whatever you're going to do, which is where you kind of enter this next phase of your career, is like, exploring these new areas that maybe you can't really do that in other labels because there's a thing you have to be.
I mean, we're lucky if Mike didn't like us. I mean, he liked us as people, but we, and again, Mike didn't see us on Fat Records, and we also sonically knew we didn't fit on Fat Records too, but we were looking, we were looking for someone to, help us reach more people in 1996. And in that regard, it's a good thing because we were left to our own devices at Nitro. No one was trying to get involved and tell us what to make or not to make. And then when we put out Black Sails in the Sunset, the Brian Holland said, I don't get it, but he didn't say, I'm not putting it out.
It's so weird because like I stole that CD from my friend Caleb Cooper before I moved to England, and I had it on a CD player and I listened to it the flight to England. And I just remember being like, this is so insane. Like,
yeah.
Like once again, not to beat up on Shape of Punk to Come, but like to me that record was almost like that level of like, where's this band going? Like this is such a cool moment to kind of see a band at. And
thank you. It felt that way when we made it. And to bring it back to 2025, that's a similar way it felt when we finished Silver Blaze of Black Sun. Mm-hmm. It really felt that way. I was like so excited about being able to capture how we felt at that time and musically represent ourselves in that way that I knew really didn't have a home. And I was curious to see how people would react to it, because I had a hard time and still have a hard time describing what that record sounded like, because it didn't sound like Shut Your Mouth and then The Art of Drowning, which doesn't sound like Black Sails. They're very strange records, those records.
Well, all your records are like just like, once again, right from the very beginning, like everything's a different approach to the whole thing. It feels like as a listener, but like it's obviously the same people making it, so it's not like a departure every single time. And obviously
at some point it's different people making it.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a shift that happens.
It shifts every couple of years, but from 98 till now it's the same people making it.
Same people, but it's like and I think I only can really appreciate it now, having been in a band for as long as I've been doing it, where it's like it's hard to be in a band and juggle audience expectations with the idea that like this isn't the audience, this is my thing, and this is like how dishonest could I be with the people listening to it by just giving them
what they want.
what they want. Yeah, like some facsimile.
And who? Which of you?
Yeah. Well, for you, it's like
which of you do I need to please?
I feel like there's like
my brother's a lawyer now. Do you want me to sing about him being a lawyer?
you gotta start thinking about the internet.
About him not having a mohawk.
You got to sing about streams, and you got to sing about the way. It's interesting though with like hardcore and punk where like you look at Fugazi and obviously Fugazi has very poetic moments, but then they also have songs like Merchandising where they've stripped away so much of the metaphor to the point where you're actually just singing about the mechanics of being in a band.
It's great.
It's awesome. Or like that 15 song about shooting heroin, about how to safely shoot heroin.
Oh, wow. I missed that one.
Where he gives you the instructions on how to clean your needle.
That makes sense. That sounds right.
It's like
definitely saw 15 quite a few times.
I never got to see him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised. It felt like they played forever.
No, but actually, this is going to blow your mind. This will be my tie together because I'm sure you're sick of hearing this sort of digression. But professional wrestler Lita, Amy.
Yeah.
When she was 15.
Okay.
16, got in the van with 15. Jeff was like super cool, and she was
and traveled
for 15.
Whoa.
Yeah. She at one point dated CM Punk, right? Total hardcore kid.
This is all weird.
Yeah.
But starting in the van with 15 and ending up wrestling is wild. And
exactly.
And ending up a hardcore kid. Because anyone who's listening who doesn't know what 15 is, it's you're virtually a hippie commune.
Yes, exactly. So she's on that tour.
We're talking the Spawn Ranch. I mean, kind of, right, Damian?
She comes out with no negative stories. I should definitely say.
Okay.
Like waiting for the other shoe to drop in this.
Okay, thing. Great.
But then she moves to DC and hangs out with the Battery people, but then also is in a band with people from Slant Six, like crossing that weird line in DC.
Oh, that's wild.
Then she goes to wrestling, does her whole thing in wrestling, and now her and Adam from Jawbreaker have been together for years.
Ah, yes.
So it's all.
Ah, yes.
All draws everything together.
I've heard this. I've heard that Adam dates a wrestler.
Yep.
We just played with Jawbreaker recently, 2025.
They're awesome. They're fucking amazing these days.
Yeah, they're fucking awesome. Man, it sucks. Like I couldn't watch them because they were playing right before us. But as I was warming up, I could hear Jet Black, so I stopped and sang along Jet Black, and then continued my scales.
With them, I've always wondered like what, because like they don't sound like an LA punk band from that era. They don't have the glam metal influence that a lot of those bands kind of had permeating into it a little bit.
Yeah.
And they don't sound like a Bay Area band. There was always something I couldn't put my finger on. And then I found out that they actually like started in New York and used to play like performance art shows with Adam's sister, Kembra Fowler, right?
Oh, yeah, of course. Karen Black.
So it's kind of got this like Sonic Youth.
Oh, that makes sense.
And I'm like, that's what I could never put my finger on.
That makes sense. I didn't even think of it in those terms because to me they sound so Bay Area because they were so anchored in the scene and so like they were one of the biggest bands. Everybody loved Jawbreaker. But The Wedding Present, I thought you were going to say they lived in England.
No.
But then I found out they lived in England next door to where The Wedding Present were.
I think that's the other thing, that they, as much as they are a Bay Area band, but to me they also had that like New York cool attachment, Sonic Youth, Thurston Moore vibe.
Absolutely. Everything you said makes sense, and I'd never really thought that much about it. But yeah, when you step back, it wasn't that, and that's why it stood out so much. That aesthetic that you're talking about, and that coolness, that aloofness, that poetic aloofness.
This has been anything but aloof, and it's been definitely cool.
I hope it's been anything but terribly boring.
Wow. This is now your 5th hour of Punk.
It's so fun. We could just do this till dawn. We could do this till Santa comes.
It almost is dawn here, Davey. So
Oh, Damian, I really appreciate you conforming to my nocturnal tendencies, and I appreciate you having me. It's always such a joy to hang out with you and talk to you, public or otherwise.